Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our second workshop series from our World-Class Professor program. This is the second workshop. I think this is the final workshop. Well, I believe.
Yes.
In this series.
Yes.
Our speaker for today is Professor Paulo Show, just like last week, and also we have new second speaker, which is Dr. Andriati Ningrum. Good morning, good afternoon, Professor and Dr. Andriati.
Assalamualaikum, good afternoon, Bapak.
Afternoon.
Right. So as you know, Professor Show is from Nottingham University. He graduated from which PhD in bioprocess engineering from University Putra Malaysia in 2012. Perhaps I think that's for introduction for Professor Show. Professor Show, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Right. So please allow me to share the screen right now. Right, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can, Professor.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, please allow me to start with the presentations, right? So as per mentioned by the chairperson today, I would like to share a little bit of my experience, right? Before I might start my presentation, I always start with the thank you slide. It's my first slide, right? So I would like to thank the Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia for giving me the opportunity to share my little experience. So my name is Show Paulo, can call me Paulo. I'm from Nottingham, Malaysia. Right. So just a little background about myself. Right. So currently I'm a technology advisor in high value high tech agriculture Malaysia. Right. I also rank world number one in microalgae technologies. So I'm currently a president of International Bioprocess Society in Malaysia. So in this society, actually we have more than 200 members from around the world. Right, so I also a director of this food processing research center in University of Nottingham, Malaysia, as well as co-director of Future Food Malaysia Beacon Excellence in University of Nottingham, Malaysia. For information, Beacon Excellence actually is a research institute, but we in UK British University we name it as a Beacon Excellence. So in this Beacon Excellence, we do a lot of future food research. One of the future food which is microalgae. In 2020, I promoted become a full professor, so in biochemical engineering, so it's relatively young professor. There's a lot for me to learn from you guys. I also received my PhD in bioprocess engineering in 2 years time. It's relatively fast, yeah, because that time Malaysia have a quick program to finish PhD within 2 years time. That's why I'm so lucky I'm able to join the program. Right after my PhD, I further another degree we call it PGCE, which is Fellow of Higher Education Academic. So it's 2 years I used 2 years to finish right after my PhD. So currently, I'm a chartered chemical engineer registered with Institute of Chemical Engineer, as well as professional engineer registered with Board of Engineer Malaysia. That's why you can see my title with IR. I also a professional technologist registered with Board of Technology. Okay, so that's why you can see my title with name with TS. TH actually is a professional technology in Malaysia, Board of Technologies in Malaysia. Right, so this is a little bit about myself. My area of research actually cover from bioprocess from upstream to downstream. So start from fermentation, cultivation of different microorganisms, especially microalgae. So until downstream, which is bioprocess. So this is a lot of research. So I also work a lot in separation and prefabricated engineering. So I developed a new method we call liquid biophasing system. So this is some little to my research. I also work a lot in microalgae biorefinery. So you can see in microalgae, we have a bioprocess, biomass, biorefinery, and bioproducts. So this is some of the biorefining process. So my research achievement, a little bit experience, I have published more than 500 high impact factor. Majority is 80% is Q1 in less than 8 years. I also successfully attract a lot of research fundings. I'm the recently listed as a top 2 world leading scientists by Stanford List 2020 and 2021 just recently. APEC Science Prize for Innovation, Research and Education, Malaysia Award 2020, as well as 6 Global Top Peer Review Award 2019 from Web of Science and Public. Also a young excited researcher in 2019 award by the Ministry of Science and Technology Malaysia. And most read and top download research paper since 2018. The Daisiwa Award from the Society for Biotech Japan, which allowed me to have attachment in different university, as well as JSPS fellowship, which allowed me to give more experience in Japan University, example, Kobe University, Osaka University, as well as Tokyo University. I also top peer review award in Algeria, top 100 Asia scientists 2017, Asia Research Scientist 2017, as well as winner Young Researcher Award in IKB Malaysia Award 2019. Then Platinum Research Award from University of Nottingham, Malaysia since 2000. I joined the university 2012. Right, so this is a little bit of my research experience. So I also very experienced in some of the editorial board. As example, I'm the editor board of this Journal of Hazardous Material, Impact Factor more than 10, Bioresource Technology, Environmental Pollution, Chemosphere, Environmental Research Scientific Report, Bioengineer Processes, as well as I'm the editor-in-chief of this current nutrient and food science. Right, so today workshop for world-class professor 2021, I would like to share with you guys the getting published in international journal. Right, so when you see this, right, so what is the so of course this is something like momentum, right? So when you publish a paper, you need a momentum to driving force to move you to publish. So what is the main momentum? Right, so you need to find a reason why publish your work. So of course, in general terms, a lot of people will think access to research finding, right? So you publish your work, so easy to access your research finding and easy to share your information. Yes, this is correct, right? Reach greater audience, this is also correct, because it's will right after you publish, right, you have other people will access your information easily, so you have better audience, greater audience. Future further advancement of knowledge, so because you want to have advancement of your knowledge, definitely this is one of the way of doing it, right? So benchmarking your research work, because you think that your research work is good, you want to benchmark it, so this is another way of doing it. Another one is a self-fulfillment, so you think you want to fulfill yourself to accomplish something, yes, this is another reason, right? So what is the others motivation to publish, right? Because the previous slide you can see majority is a formal one, okay, is a general one, right? I believe everyone have their motive, have their motivation to publish, right? The first one maybe is a university requirements, right? Because some of the university that require their student to publish, example, they get the scholarship, they're required to publish 1 or 2 paper, right? I think this happened to most of the Asian university, right? So maybe supervisor want you to publish, so some supervisor always encourage their student to publish paper, maybe supervisor want to get something from published paper, yes, this is a reason. Well, another one is a intellectual challenge. Maybe you want to have a better self-certification, as I mentioned in previous slide, because you think that your finding is good, better than others one, because you think your finding is work to share with others. That's why you want to share with others. So this is another thing. Because this is you want to have some motivation, right? Maybe it's financial incentive. Because some of the university or some of the funder, they say if you publish paper, then this is the funding that scholarship you will get. Also, this is some financial incentive. Maybe for future job and promotion. Future job maybe for students, or for the academic staff, look for a better opportunity or look for a promotion, right? Promote from example for assistant professor to professor, then assistant professor to associate professor, then to professor, So this is another criteria, because all the stage they have the certain criteria. One of the criteria is published paper, and if you still cannot think, then you have to take a reason yourself, right? So you have to find a reason why it's the reason that you publish. Because if you do not have the reason to publish, definitely you have no mood, I can say no motivation to go to lab Okay, right after you finish your lab, then you have no motivation to write your paper. So anyhow, must be have a motivation, right? So yeah, maybe you want to finish your job as soon as possible. Yeah, finish your degree as soon as possible. Maybe some of the reason, maybe encouragement of your parents. Yeah, maybe you want to learn from your who. Yeah, this is a role model. Yeah, that is the reason. So anyhow, you need to find a reason to publish. Right. So challenge. So I believe when you publish paper, you have some challenges on publishing your work. The first one is a financial aspect. Right. I believe a lot nowadays, a lot of journal paper is become open access. They transform from subscription based, yeah, to open access. So this is something need financial aspect in published paper, right? A lot of good journal, you can say nature, science, yeah, a lot of Elsevier journal with Q1 good impact factor, they transform from subscription based, yeah, to open access. Mean that when you open access, right, you need to pay the article processing charge, APC. So this is a financial aspect that maybe stop the researcher publish paper, right? So this is the first one, financial aspect. Second one is novelty, right? Because you have lack of confidence that your work is good, okay, then you think that your work is no novelty, yeah. So this is something that stop you from publishing your work, right? So actually, in my opinion, right, that we never say with the work to have novelty, just from what angle that you describe, yeah, from what angle that you see from the work, right? So this is how you write it. The art of writing is important. All right, finding relevant journal. Yeah, they have the challenge in finding a relevant journal. So they find it difficult to find a suitable journal to to submit the journal and publish the work, right? So because most of the journal, right, they have specific scope, specific themes, yeah, specific objective. Yeah. So you find difficult. I believe in the last workshop conducted by Dr. Apura, he teach you how to find a suitable journal. Actually, each of the publisher like Elsevier, Wiley, Springer, all this, right, they have specific website for you to find a suitable journal. You just need to key in your keyword inside the journal, inside the website. So maybe another challenges is the English level. You think that your English is not good, right? So that you keep it for yourself. Even your result is very fantastic, but your English is not good. So you just keep on hiding, yeah. So you keep on reading and reading, you feel not satisfied with the English and you stop publishing it, yeah. So this is another reason. So I think nowadays, right, they have a lot of these services, yeah, provided by proofreader, right, professional English editor, right. They can help you to polish your English. Of course, you need to find a suitable one, because some of the English professional English editor, they just help you to proofread the general information, but in fact, right, a lot of scientific terms, right, they need to have a professional English in your area, like in chemistry, like in biology, right. So this is something that you need to look for, right? Quality of writing. So you think that the way of writing, the structure that we are writing is not quality. So this is another way. So what you can solve this problem is actually is very easy. So you, as I mentioned in my last week's workshop, that you need to learn from the style of the journal that you aim to publish. Let's say you want to publish in some A journal, right? In the A journal, right, you look at the style of writing, okay? How you present, yeah. What is the scope they want? How many parameters they want? How many table figure normally required for the journal? So you see, yeah, from then you can see, okay, is there already, yeah. Quality is there, then you just submit. Okay. Another reason is demotivated by reviewer or editor, because I believe published work, you definitely you will get rejection, right? It is impossible you have not get your rejections, right? So rejection is normal in academic life. Okay, so as academic, we are immune already. I can say we are immune for rejection. We are immune by this by the comment given by editor or reviewer. So you need to take it positively. Okay, mentally must be very strong. Okay, to solve this. of course. So all this you can see, yeah, your professor, your supervisor definitely have more experience, yeah, in doing this, yeah. So if anything you're not sure, like definitely look for people who have more experience, yeah, more able to help you to solve this all this problem. Right, so let me proceed with, I like this picture very much, right? Because whenever I tell my students, right, information versus knowledge, what is information? From this picture you can see, information actually is a small dot, right? Small dot, particular piece of the piece, yeah, one piece separated each other. This is information. But when you link it up, right, it become knowledge already. Right, so in my opinion, right, knowledge is meaningless unless we share it up. Right, so how we share it? University play an important role. Okay, university have two main functions. For undergrad, we transmit knowledge. For lecturer, we just give additional information. At the same time, students self-learning, so we transmit the knowledge. All right. So, but for postgraduate students, master level and PhD, they create knowledge. They create new knowledge because they challenge the information in the book. All right. They think this is good. Yeah. They think that is not good. So they challenge it. So they create an additional new knowledge. So this is the main function, two main functions of university. All right. So just to share with you the knowledge management. All right. So knowledge management, I'll always start with the researcher. Okay, researcher, we, as I mentioned, for the postgraduate students or the researcher or the scientist, we're creating knowledge by conduct research. All right. So they will conduct research. They will share some. They will do some additional work, right, to prove that the current scenario is not accurate, right? Then they will do something additional to publish it, right? This is a researcher work, right? So researcher work, when they publish, they save it in the knowledge bank. Knowledge bank is publisher, right? Knowledge bank publisher like Elsevier, Springer, Science, yeah, Nature, Cell, all this is knowledge bank, right? So knowledge bank store information like paper, all right. So then continue with society, industry, and government. What they will do? They will apply and give us the opportunity to try and practice new knowledge. So this is something information that to share with you, which is a knowledge management in the whole system. So of course, three parties need to work together. Researchers need to create knowledge first, then for this knowledge bank, they need to store it because this is transmitted, right? They need to transmit to society, industry, and government. Because sometimes researcher difficult to direct contact with society, industry, and government. Right. So how to start? Right. So share it. How to start? Basically. Okay. So how to start? Start, of course, start with the reading. A lot of new students, right? They always start with the readings. Yeah. So the lecturer always say, you read this book first. Yeah. You read that paper first. Yeah. Start with reading. Always start reading because by reading you will get more knowledge. Okay. But of course, if you just reading, but without doing any proper note taking, example, research map. So you have to map it. What is a research gap? Yeah, research map. Then you come with the research gap. Because after you're reading so many paper, you will find it very confusing. So you need to have a research map. When you have a research map, then you will be able to see the research gap. Yeah, what is the gap between? Okay, what is the limitation? What is the problem statement? Yeah, from this research to that research. Yeah, what is the gap inside? So research is something that you fill in the gap. Okay, so another thing is the timing is important. Okay, why I say timing is important? Because you need to publish your paper as soon as possible, right? So right after you feel is ready, just submit and publish it. All right. If not, you will become updated, right? Because you don't know what is happening outside your lab. Okay, right? Because maybe you have this idea. This idea actually other people from other lab, from other country, yeah, from other state, they also have this kind of idea. Actually, they are doing it already. So you are competing to each other. So what you can do is you just submit your work as soon as possible. All right? Because a lot of students will think that I will gather all the information, wait until I start writing my thesis, only start to submit paper one by one. Yeah, from that time, right? Yeah, I think too slow already, because right after you finish your one part, let's say your first experiment, okay, then you submit it, you receive some feedback. After you receive some feedback, right, then you can improve your experiment number 2. Then from then you will improve until the last one, then you will compile a thesis already. Okay, so where to publish, right? So where to publish, I believe everyone is very good in publishing, especially you can see you can publish in the Facebook, IG, YouTube, etc. So everyone I can say is a good reader, okay, good writer as well. So you can publish it easily in the Facebook, IG, and YouTube, right? You also can, a lot of blogger, right, they're able to write a lot of blog, okay, a lot of forums, right? They're able to be in the website. So this is another channel that you can publish your work, right? So of course, you, for more specific one, for have a certain team, right, you need to tell something, yeah, you have a proper audience, that conference is a suitable place to publish. Okay, later I will share with you what is the conference agenda, right? Conference agenda actually is something like proceedings, yeah. They have uh they have a special issue for conference. All this actually you can submit your paper easily in the conference, but has certain theme of it. Okay, so then you also can scope it down, become a book. Okay, become a book. You can publish as a book. Of course, book have the title of it, right? Then after book, then you can be more specific in with a lot of picture, more audience. You can publish in the magazine. And last but not least, you can publish in the peer review journal. So this is a few channel that you can publish. Okay, so you can publish in Facebook, IG, YouTube, because I can say everyone is a good writer already, because I believe everyone at least have one post throughout your lifetime, like in Facebook, in IG, in YouTube. Also, I think you are able to write a blog. Yeah, sometimes you want to be more specific, you can publish your work in conference, or you can write a book, yeah, contribute a book chapter or magazine. And you want the more specific one, your scientific undergo a peer review, then you can publish your peer review journal. All right, another to scope it down, to zoom in, right? So publish, either you can publish in a top journal. What is top journal? Top journal, then we come to ISI index journal. Okay, then come to non-ISI index journal, local peer review journal, and last but not least, which is the non-reference journal. Right, so this is a few journal that in the category. Of course, this is step by step. Okay, for a new journal, definitely you start with the non-reference journal, then local peer review journal, then become non-ISI, become ISI, then become a top journal, which is very top way on top of it already. Yeah. So what determines a good journal, right? So normally a good journal is a trusted, respected by the community, right? So a lot of community that I see, this is a good journal, right? They're trusted one. So a lot of people know, we get a lot of good reputation from the journal. So this is a one criteria for a good journal. Second one is a normally high impact factor, right? So later I will share with you what is impact factor. Normally high impact factor. How to consider high impact factor, right? Depends on individual. So normally it's the rank Q1, which top 20%. I will share with you what is Q1, Q2, Q3 in the next slide. Organize and run to high editorial and peer review standard. So this is another one criteria to determine a good journal, because some of journal they do not have organized it. Yeah, they just simply submit it using by email, or they submit using by hard copy. Yeah, not organized. Yeah, but some many good journal they nowadays they practice a system, right? Let's say they have a EES system, right? So editorial manager system. So run a high editorial, so everyone we can keep track, yeah, who is handling that journal, then for who is reviewing the journal, then whether it's a blind reviewer or one side reviewer. So everything is organized, well organized, depend on the journal policy. Okay, we also have transparency of process for author and reader. So whenever you have questions, okay, you can contact the author immediately. Okay, you can also contact the editor. Yeah, you found that the journal is something mistake. Yeah, then you can contact the editor. Yeah, to clarify it. Yeah, this is something good journal will do. A trusted and respected publisher, right? Adhering to publication ethics. Yeah, this is another one things that a lot of we need to take care, yeah, for publication ethics. Yeah, because publication ethics we have involved a lot of ethics issue in publication. Example is peer review process. Yeah, you need to look for independent reviewer, not the reviewer that is your friend. Yeah, that's something like this. Yeah, or for a review paper, you need to look for something. When you give comment, you do not ask the author to cite your paper. Okay, this is another publication ethics. So there's a lot of trusted and respected publisher. So they have adhering with this publication ethics. Okay, usually voted by one or both Web of Science and Scopus. So meaning that they recognize it, yeah. They rated me, mean that they recognize their contributions, yeah. They put it in their Web of Science website as well as Scopus website. Right. So what is impact factor or ranking in quadrant? So first one I have to share with you the impact factor. The impact factor actually is site of the recent time, okay, which is the last two years. You can see this is some example. So cite in 2016 to item published in, okay, in 2 years, 2014, 2015. So 2014, there you can see we have 3,754 citation, and 2015 you have 5,598 citation. Total you have 9,352. This is the citation received by 2016. Okay, total citation. Or number of recent items, which is the number of items published in last 2 years, which is 2014, 2015. So 2014 published in 24 paper, 2015 published 26 paper. Total you have 50 paper. So 9,352 divided by 50, you have an impact factor around 187.04. So this is the impact factor calculation, right? So you can see a lot of journal, right? Actually, they do not require so many paper. This is their trade, yeah. They do not require so many paper, but they require more citation in order to get a higher impact factor. This is really nowadays a lot of journal they start to think, yeah, because they need a good quality paper to attract more citation. At the same time, they can reduce publication number so that they can increase the impact factor, right? So this is strategy now. There are a lot of editorial in discussing, right? So rank in quadrant. So just to share with you, as I mentioned, Q1 actually occupied by the top 20%, 25% of the journal in the list. Yeah, because in, let's say, in JAM journal, then in biochemistry, yeah, category subject. Then some journal in science and technology subject. Some journal in environmental, some journal in field, some journal in microorganism. So different category have different list. Okay, so some journal you can see the impact factor maybe 2, but they are in the Q1. So not necessarily that high impact factor that will be in the Q1. Okay, not necessarily low impact factor will not in the Q1. So this is very different, yeah, because different subject area have different category. Okay, as long as in the whole category you are in the top 25, then you consider Q1, right? If you are in top Q2, which is 25 to 50, yeah, in that group, and Q3, which is 50 to 75 group, and Q4, which occupied by 75 to 100, which is the lowest one, which is almost in that category, yeah, you are the low ranking journal. So this is normally we say in Q1 journal, yeah, that's why a lot of university they're looking for Q1 journal because they don't encourage their staff or their student publish in Q2 and Q3 and Q4. Okay, what is considered bad journal, right? So let me share with you, because of course we have a good one, of course we have a bad one. So bad is just a low standard in review process, right? As I mentioned to you, maybe no organized one, that so only editor will review, right? But yeah, this is something that happen in some of the journal, right? Or maybe no one will review, only the technical staff, yeah, simply give some comments and they return to the author to correct it. So this is the we call it not so good journal, right? Emphasize emphasis to speed publication. So they emphasize a lot the speeding, because nowadays they say able to make decision within 3 days, able to make decision within 7 days. The speed of the publication, they say very, because a lot of author they too lazy to wait. Yeah, because for a standard one, normally they wait to wait for 1 month or 2 months to get the first result. But in some of the journal, in order to attract more author to submit the paper, they said that they're able to make a decision within 1 week. Yeah. So this is some of it. Focus in payment to publish. Yeah. This is something that try to avoid. Yeah. But some of the now the current scenario is a lot of people, a lot of journal they start to focus in payment, because due to the reason that a lot of universities start to subscribing the publisher website, like example Syria or what Scopus. Yeah, they subscribe the website, so from that they have less income. So there's no the publisher no choice, right? They have to change from subscription based to open access, because open access the payment is from the author, right? So the author will have to pay some money in order to publish. So, but some of the journal they too focus in payment, right? They say you pay money, then I will make your paper get accepted easily. So this is some of the bad journal. Publication with ethics issue, right? As I mentioned. Okay. So publication with ethics issue, if it happen, some of the journal, right? They say they example, some of the ethics issue, as I mentioned, they do not find a proper reviewer, right? They just simply go through a simple review process, give some simple comment. Yeah. So this is some ethic issue, right? Maybe they, some of the editor and the author are friends. Yeah. So these some of the things that will happen. Okay. And is not accredited by the quality tested citation system. Example, which is the Web of Science Scopus. So they, for information Web of Science and Scopus, every year they will do some spot check. Yeah, that we call it accreditation, right? So accreditation, they will check whether you have the quality or not. You undergo proper proper review process, proper editorial process or not. So they will check. So if they are not qualified, they are no accredited. Yeah. So this is for Web of Science and Scopus. Some of the example. Okay, so you can see there are some of the bad reputation on review and in social media. Example, well, bell list, right? So you can click on the list, you can just type it. Yeah. So what is the bad journal normally released there? So you can see a lot of journal listed there because bad reputation, right? So this is still not a correct, not the latest one, but still for just for your reference. Okay. So what is the consequences of choosing a bad journal? Right, so a lot of negative effect if you wrongly choose a bad journal. Okay, the first one is a mandatory cost to you, right, or your funding agency, because you pay money for publication, so you wasted your money. So this paper information to publish paper actually is not cheap. Yeah, not cheap at all. So example, the cheapest one depends which journal that you're aiming for. I think the cheaper ones at least 1,000 USD, right? So still need to pay some money for it, right? So this is for your information. You will cost mandatory cost to you or your funding agency. Okay. Another things is no assurance of the longevity of your paper. Mean that your paper maybe will disappear suddenly in nowhere. So you don't know where your paper located. If you put so much effort to write the paper, undergo a peer review process, you respond to the reviewer and you revise it. But at the end, after 1 or 2 years, you're not sure where your paper go. Okay, so this is another sad issue, right? No assurance of longevity of your paper. So another one is a delisting, okay, delisting by the reputable citation system. So maybe the journal disappear already. So what you can do is you also delisting from the system your paper. So you will paper will become don't know where to go already. So this is something not good, right? So another one is low opportunity for citation, right? Because you publish your paper in low quality journal, a lot of author they when they read your paper, they also doubt, yeah, whether this is true or not, right? They will doubt whether this undergo proper peer review process or not. So low opportunity for suggestion. They will not cite a paper, yeah, because they think this one is the not trusted one. That's why you can see whenever we write a paper, we also must look at where the paper come from. If paper come from a top quality publisher, of course we have confidence. We think that this undergo proper peer review. Yeah, the author is good, the editor is good. Yeah, so this is something that you need to take care. Okay, the last but not least is the most important one. Harm your reputation and your career. Yeah, this is something because you already have a black spot. Yeah, so why after you publish one not so good journal, so forever you will stick in there because you will difficult to withdraw, yeah, to remove it from the internet, yeah. And even you say you want to withdraw it, you write to the editor will just say withdraw, but your information is still there because they already published, yeah. So they will forever harm your reputation and your career. So this is some consequences of choosing a bad journal. So it's important to choose the right journal. So make sure you have read the guide for authors. Right. So before you start choosing a right journal, right? So you make sure you read the guide for author because guide author will change it quite frequently. Yeah. They will change, I can say some of the journal they will change every 6 months. Because every 6 months they will see the trend. Let's say the trend nowadays, there a lot of people talk about COVID-19, right? So they will welcome more COVID-19 people because maybe after 6 months, people will talk about the waste from medical devices. Yeah, because you use too many masks, face masks, sanitizer, all this, then this become a big waste, yeah, issue, environmental issue. So they welcome all this paper. So depend on current trend. So remember to read the guide for author. So before so that you can choose the right journal. Have the journal publish articles similar to yours? Yeah, you have to read every because what important is the recent one. I believe some of the journal right they even publish papers similar to yours in the last 10 years, but not in the latest 3 years. Because last 10 years maybe it's different editor-in-chief, maybe the different editor on board. They favorite in that topic. Okay, they accept more in the topic. But in the recent one, they think that the topic is not so favorite in their team already. So they're looking for more other topics. So you can see the easy trees one is the latest 3 years. Okay, don't latest 10 years. Okay, so published in a similar area. I believe when you read more and more, right, then you can look at this. Yeah, find a journal from this find a paper from this journal. So from there, click right, you can see whether they have similar on it. You just key the keyword. Okay, let's say you want to publish a paper in related to microalgae. You type microalgae, then you can see recent how many paper accepted in microalgae. If let's say they have 10 paper in the last 3 years, then it should be okay. But you can say only one or two, maybe this journal is not very favorable. But it still depends, yeah, because you have to see how many issue in that journal and one issue how many paper are published. Right. So let's say one journal they have only one issue per year. So one issue only have maybe is 30 to 40 paper. So you can see you can estimate, yeah. So maybe in the last 3 years they only have three. It's reasonable because each issue they have one journal published in microalgae. So this depends, yeah. Maybe some of the very hot topics very famous journal like parasitology. They have a lot issue per year. They have maybe have 20, 30, 40 issue per year. So each issue they have around 20 to 30 paper, then you can see. So it depends, yeah, which journal, yeah. That's why you can see how many issue per year from the journal. Do you always cite this journal in your references? Yeah, this is something that I will ask students, yeah. Because the more references you cite in the journal, right, actually indicate that this journal is relevant to that journal, right? Let's say you cite a lot of people from this alga research, okay, alga research. So you can see maybe this journal is suitable submit to alga research because at the same time, alga research will welcome your paper as well because they need more citation, right? They say that this is very good, right? Because it's relevant to me and you also can increase my citation. So of course, I will cite more. I will accept your paper. I will not say this paper is not relevant to my journal. So this is something important, right? Remember to cite. Remember to cite more journal that you want to submit. What's your supervisor or other people opinion, right? Because I believe supervisor, they have a lot of experience. They will say, recently I received an invitation from who and who. Recently I attended a conference and there is a special issue. Then maybe we can try to submit this paper. Or maybe I know someone who is editor in that. Yeah, they recently they like this kind of topics. Yeah, please submit that. Yeah. So maybe yeah, because talk to more people, not only a supervisor, maybe your peer for other group, then you have more information. Because right after you have get more information, you are confident, you know where to submit. Yeah, you have better choose the better right journal. Right. So other author arrangement. So just to share with you, the corresponding author normally is someone with a permanent position, right? So I will seldom see students become a corresponding author because students just attach to the university to get a degree. Maybe after 3 years, after 5 years, you get a PhD or master degree. Then it will disappear. They will look for another university or an industry to work. So to the author is difficult to look for and to get more information. So this is the responsible for author, corresponding author to respond to the inquiry from the authors. So normally it's a supervisor with relative longer stay than the student in the organization. Someone who know how to answer the doubt if reader have inquiry when reading the paper. Okay. Who arranged the workshop? Okay, who arranged the authorship? Okay, normally, of course, who contribute in that paper, they will just give the authorship. Of course, for hand time, you need to discuss and negotiate, right? Who is the first author, who is the second author, then why suddenly that author will be put in, what is the reason? So you have to discuss first, yeah. This is a discussion. But one thing to note down, which is one after you submit your paper, right? Most of the journal that dislike you to change the authorship or add or delete the authorship, right? So this is important. Okay, no changes in the revision or when after you accept it. Because when you change something, right, you need to fill up the author contribution form. Okay, which is how the agenda will say how is the contribution here and there. There's a lot of things to fill up. So to avoid unnecessary delay, right? So make sure you arrange it accordingly. Okay, to discuss it before you submit your paper. Okay, so another things. So how to define a quality publication? Okay, quality publication. Of course, from the publisher, you can see from publisher they have a major commercial publication. So, for example, as I mentioned, Elsevier, VD, Springer, InterScience, all this is a commercial publication because they get money. Okay, a lot of my friends, yeah, I can say they dislike this commercial publisher because they say after they they work so hard, yeah, they pay money, they do apply the fundings after got the funding, they work, they hire students, yeah, and they work with the student to get more the result. After get the result, right, then they submit to this commercial publisher. After submitting, they undergo a peer review. We get some criticized comment. They revise it. Okay, then after that you get accepted. After get accepted, what the most things is do is the publisher will ask you to transfer the copyright to the publisher, right? So this is something that some of my colleagues which dislike one because they say we work so hard at the end, all this credit given to the publisher. But of course, the publisher have the rules playing also. Right, the publisher maybe help you to share your information to the audience, right? Then publisher also help you to get more readers. Yeah. So this is a different rules. That's why everyone pay a different rule, as I mentioned in the previous slide, which is a knowledge management. So everyone pay a different rules. Some major professional organizations also consider publisher. Example, SES, ICAM, America, International Chemical, IEEE. All these professional organization, they also have their become a publisher. They have their own journal as well. So university-based publisher, like example, electrical electronic press, Cambridge University Press, yeah, all these university-based publisher. This is something like non-profit organization. This is managed by the staff in the university, right? So you can see the editor-in-chief, the editor board, right? Everything from the staff. Or other self-skill publisher, example from the society, right? So Japan Institute of Energy, or like SPJ, uh, Society for Biotech, so etc. So they also have their small skill journal, which they focus a lot of quality instead of quantity, because they don't care how many people they publish, but they just want to maintain the reputation and the quality of the journal. So this is some of things that you can consider before you submit your paper. So one thing is double check if it's a good journal, how to check whether it's ethical, quality assurance. So something that you need to ensure. So just basically just as an example, you how to say investment, I can say you publish a paper, you have, like you invest something. Okay, you invest something, you double check of the your example, you buy a share. So you just look at the share background, the performance of the share, the ethic of the share, quality assurance of the share. So this is something like a good journal, same thing to what you other people are doing right now, they earn money. But this one is something like published paper. All right. So ethical quality assurance, you double check, yeah, double check with whether it's a meet the criteria of a good journal. Second is appropriation to your work. Okay, whether it's related to your work or not. Yeah. So as I mentioned, whether they accept your paper in the recently or not, yeah, in the topic or not, yeah. Seek advice from your supervisor from your supervisor, okay, to see whether this is suitable or not, because your supervisor maybe know some trick, yeah, some information behind, yeah. This is another thing one. Due intelligence, you're checking on the website citation history, yeah. As I mentioned, you need to check properly whether is the website is there or not, yeah. Do you have the system there or not? The citation history is what, as I mentioned, how many issue per year, what issue, how many paper accepted, yeah. All these things, yeah, you have to check on it. And checking his metric also, as I mentioned, the metric, the number, all right. So the number, everything. Okay, peer review process. This is some of the example to show you the peer review process. Okay, so peer review process always start with author submit article. So this author submit article. So author submit article, then we article assessed by editor. Okay, but this is yeah, normally it's not editor first, yeah. Normally it's the general office. General office we check the format. We check the format, the document whether it's able to open or not, yeah, enough file or not. So this we call the general office, we check everything, the formatting, the file can be open, yeah, no error in the file. Then after that, right, the general office will pass it to editor. So editor will check whether within the scope or not. All right. So this is the one stage. All right. So if within the scope, they will send for review. All right. If not within the scope, they will reject it directly. Okay. They said unfit. Yeah, not within the scope. So you get the rejection easily in this stage. All right. So let's say if you're lucky enough, you send for reviewer. So reviewer will review it. Okay. Then reviewer assess. Then review assessed by editor. So you can see editor will, then you maybe for this stage you send for review, then you have the revision required, yeah. Then you will go back again until both party happy with the revision, right? So if both party happy with revision, then you have the author will submit a revised manuscript, then assessed by editor again, then send back to reviewer happy, then this is cycle. Okay, this is cycle for this peer review process. Okay, in peer review process, they're also in different category, as I mentioned. Either is both of the blind, which is you don't know who is author, you don't know who is the reviewer. But sometimes reviewer they wish to see who is author, because some author they think that it's important for the reviewer to know who is author. So some people only one side blind. Okay, so some people, some journal or maybe have two side blind. Some journal like like I think Fontian, right? They have transparent. You know who is the who is editor, you know who is the reviewer, you know who is the author. So they can respond immediately. So it depends which journal policy they are practicing. Okay, so you can see after they send for review, then after revision author will send back the revised manuscript that as by editor, then send back to review happy, then you can go for assessment. If the review editor, if the revision, the editor is not happy, then you come to rejection, right? So you can see even sometimes like, oh, reviewer happy already, but editor still not happy. So further review process needed. Yeah. So you send for additional review. So maybe some, let's say normally we will try our best to get at least 3 reviewer. Okay. So let's say 2 reviewer say major revision, 1 reviewer say rejection. So how we do it? Yeah, because majority say major revision, but one say rejection. So what you can see, yeah, further review required or not, needed or not. Yeah. So edited interpretation. Yeah, we have to read through the reviewer comment whether the rejection comment is critical, makes sense or not. If not make sense, then we will undergo further review. Yeah, we assign another reviewer, okay, to see what will happen. Right. So if another reviewer also mentioned rejection, then we have no choice, we reject the paper. Right. So this legal rejection under the after assessed by the editor. Then if accepted, you receive a accepted email. Then you send for production. Then you have to fill in the form by color, then copyright and affiliation. Then at the end, only publish online. Then only publish in hard copy if some original in hard copy publication. Right. So review our result for the first time. Okay, review result for the first time accepted for publication as is very rare, very rare. So you can see normally we not have this one unless your paper is perfect. Yeah, I think this happened only 1% so far. Yeah, 1% for most of journal. Right, only accept for publication as is very rare. Second one is a minor revision, not require further peer review. Yeah, this one also very rare. I can say only 10 to 20%, right? 10 to 20%. And majority is major revision. Okay, I think more than 50% is major revision. All right, if your comment, your review comment given is positive, yeah. So even you can see minor and major, we still recommend for major revision because we want to give chance for the our author to revise it properly. Okay, additional round of a review is required. Okay, maybe we need to, for major revision, normally we send back to the reviewer. For minor one, normally we not send back to the reviewer. Normally the editor can make decision directly. All right, but last for note, but unfortunately, some of people you will say maybe majority recommend for rejection as an unfit. So editor, you have no choice, have to reject it. Right. After paper got accepted, what you do is you receive a proof that we ask you to final checking. Okay, check. Yeah, whether it's authorship correct or not. Yeah, whether is the figure arrangement is correct or not, the table arrangement is correct or not. And also most of the common things that check is your missing citation, missing references. Yeah, because in the system they will check one actually match to reference number one. So they match until at a certain stage you miss something. That's why, in my opinion, that to all the students, right, try your best to use a citation software like EndNote, Mendelin, right? So that you will not face this kind of issue in the proofreading stage. Okay, copyright transfer form to other form. Right, as I mentioned, the copyright transfer form is annoying, yeah, but no choice, right? Because this is the way the way of working, right? So we have to fill out the copyright transfer form to publisher, then publisher will do the rest of the job. If you don't sign the copyright transfer form, right, forever your paper will start in that stage, all right? So you cannot be published online. Then you must not you cannot just stop after your paper get accepted. You must keep on do the promotion, right? So how do you promote it? You promote it maybe in, as I mentioned, in Facebook, in ResearchGate, yeah, in Instagram. So you promote it so that more people read it. Yeah, more people understand your research. From there, they know you are in this area. Then when they write paper, they also refer to your paper. So because if you stop there, right, then your citation will be low. Right. So what you can do is keep on doing the promotion to increase the citation of your paper. Okay. Another one things for corresponding author, respond to the author's inquiry. Because I believe from time to time, some of the students, some of the researchers, they will ask you to send a copy. Yes, feel free to share your copy with them. And from time to time, they don't understand the sentence or don't understand the equation or don't understand the table of figures, right? Try your best to explain it to them, because by explaining to them, right, you will find that this is something people interested. They focus on your research. They pay attention to your research. Okay, check the journal and paper performance. Yeah, so we need to check. Yeah, because right after you submit the paper, you see either impact factor increasing or impact factor decreasing, or your citation of the paper increasing, or maybe it's stopped there already. So you check the performance and of the journal as well as the paper performance. So it's important. Last but not least, I want to share the importance of publication. Okay, research is an essential activity in today's knowledge-based global economy, right? So we can run away from research. Publication is an important part of the research process, right? So that's why this is what we need to do as a researcher. So like or not, you still need to publish paper. Research publication enable access to a new knowledge. Yeah, this is a fact. Yeah. So when you publish a new research publication, you could create a new knowledge of it, because you have new finding, yeah, new novelty information to share with other audience, yeah, to share with the readers. Publishing review paper can have a significant impact in the citation of your work. Yeah, that's why a lot of nowadays I believe in especially in this pandemic, everyone work from home. They cannot go to lab, right? So what can they do? They keep writing review paper. So review actually is quite comprehensive. Yeah, you cannot simply write a compilation of paperwork, but you need to have criticized information. Yeah, criticize knowledge. Yeah, and able to analyze it clearly. Yeah. So review paper can have a significant impact in the citation of your work. That's why review paper normally get better citation compared to receipt paper. Okay, research and citation are important aspect in university rank for international benchmarking of local higher education institute. Right. So we can see a lot of ranking, all this, right? The SIQS ranking, the uni ranking, all this is based on research and citation. Let me share with you some facts. Okay, for QS World Ranking methodology, right? You can see 5% located in international student ratio, 5% for international faculty ratio. So student and faculty only 5%. But you can see for citation, academic reputation is 60% already. Employee reputation and as well as faculty student ratio is 20%. So for you can see these two, right, already consume half of the mark, yeah, for this QS ranking. This is mainly for citation, which is for research, academic reputation also for research. So this is important, right? How to get these two is by publication. Some of the world university ranking 2019 methodology I get from this Times Shang Educations. So you can see for teaching, research, citation, international outlook, and the industry income. So you can see these four categories actually related to research, right? So research reputation survey, in research income, research productivity, citation for this researcher, international outlook, which is staff, student, research, then industry income, which is knowledge transfer, all these related to research. You can see majority, more than 70% is from research. So that's why a lot of research university, right, they're able to become a top world-class university, while a lot of teaching, right, they difficult, yeah, to become a top ranking. So another thing that is publication record, right? So when you publish paper, you have a better publication profile. As I share with you, this is some of my Scopus Google Scholar. You can see this is how you can see the research performance. I started my career in 2012, right? Then I start to have my citation in 2014. So slowly you can increase the citation. You can see the performance of it. All right, you can click on this year. You can see when you have a balance paper, you can click the cite by, then arrange to citation. All right. So another one is you can also have your publication record can get it from ResearchGate. ResearchGate actually is something like Facebook. Okay, but this is only for research. They can share your article here. Okay, they can communicate. You can see they can communicate here. New feed, yeah. They can set an alarm here, so they can see your scoring, yeah, for ResearchGate score. So this is some information you can put. Yeah, actually this is something like Facebook or Instagram, but this is not many for researcher. Okay, another one is Orchid ID or ORCID. All right, so ORCID actually is something very good. They capture your application automatically. They also can keep your email address. Yeah, something like a CV for you already. Okay, but recently, yeah, this is another cool Scopus. I think this is Scopus. Yeah, Scopus. They see how many metric performance, yeah, overview, yeah, how many document, then you have citation, how many, then 1 year have how many things, yeah, most contributed in this few journal, then you can click it. All right, then I think most recently one, they come up with a Publog. Publog, I think they combine everything information. They can combine your Good ResearchGate, Google Scholar, Scopus, they combine everything. They also recently work together with Web of Science, yeah. So you can see they also have award, right? They get top peer review award, excellent reviewer, academic and graduate and mentor. So they calculate how many publication you have, how many total citation you have, what is the H index, yeah, for according to Web of Science. Then if you conduct a review, how many review paper you have done. If you have editor, how many editor tasks you have finished, yeah, you have done, completed. So this is something Publog, yeah. I think this is very good CV as well. You can link to this Web of Science Research ID. Right. So another thing is to share with the supervisor as well. I think supervisor play a very important role when publish a paper. Right. So you can see supervisor require a paper to get promotion. Yeah, to get to meet the KPI. Yeah, and then also for students, need a student to graduate in order to meet the KPI as well as the promotion criteria. Then supervisor also have a lot of administration rules. Okay, administration rule to do. Then and maybe they have income, then to take care of the income as well. But supervisor actually the main thing supervisor do actually is helping. Yeah, they are not forcing you to publish paper. They're not forcing you to do something. Actually, they are trying to help you to get it. Okay, so this is the role of supervisor. All right, so completing the paper, the top tips is never give up. Yeah, because a lot of students they start to give up when they receive a negative comment from the editor or uh, reviewer. They start to give up. Yeah, maybe they cannot get the result, they give up. Maybe they face some difficulty in doing the experiment, they give up. So the top tips is never give up. Another one is guidance for supervisor as well. So try your best. Yeah, I learned this from Richard Branson. Yeah, okay. Learn to look after your students first. Yeah, and not staff. Yeah, and the rest will follow, right? So I think this is very good. Yeah, because you need to understand your student first, because your student, as a researcher, for me, in my opinion, we think that uh because for me, we have so many, we have teaching load, yeah, we have administration load, we have to look for fundings, right? So it's impossible for us to go to lab to do the research, right? So we have to make sure we work together with students, we trust the students, yeah, we learn from the students, yeah, because at the end, right, eventually students will better than us, so we have to look after them, right? So the rest will follow. I think paper will come, the funding will come, and the more will come, right? So this is something that I learned. Right, some take home message, right? So you let and know, yeah, for a student, for a staff, for a researcher, right? So work life must be balanced, right? Of course, we must have a strong, healthy, yeah, body in order to work and life, right? So this is the take home message. Another one bring home message to all of you guys is get the right research team to do a cutting edge research and get good publication. Because why I say so, yeah, in my experience, that you can see a lot of a good journal, they will look at the authorship. They look at the authorship. If the authorship is come from a good team, definitely they will say they will get easy publication. Okay, not to say easy publication, they will not so many dark, yeah, they will not direct rejection. At least they will send for review work. If they get it from a not good team, right, definitely you can see they will get rejection easily, and they will doubt about, yeah, whether you really do conduct the research or not. Yeah, maybe you do the technique correct or not. So this is something that bring home message. All right, so this is my team. You can see I have a large PhD and some master students that work together with me. I really appreciate them because I'm still learning from them. Each of them is my master. Yeah, so I'm learning from them all this skill all the while. Right. I also have a close collaboration with my students. Right. So you can see Dr. Apura is working closely with me. Yeah, even he graduated already. Dr. Chu, yeah, working in Xiamen. Example, Dr. Leong Yong Kit working in Donghai Taiwan University. Right. So example, Dr. Lee Zin working in Singapore, Prabati working in Nottingham, Malaysia campus, Zhong Hong working in Unit 10. So another one, yeah, this is Choma Africa, is working in China. Then Wei Yan working in Masa University, and Dr. Chai working in Unit 10, working industry. Then Kai Ling and Dr. Jerry, they are different they are all my students. Yeah, we still working together because we know that they are our good friends in future. They're not our students. Yeah, that's why whenever we have time, right, keep in touch with them to make sure all of them work together because we are the same family, I can say. Right. So of course, we also have a strong international collaborations. Right. So you must build a strong international because research in we don't have hero. We will work collaborator with others. So example, we work closely with Taiwan University. Right. Example with Chen Gong University, Yuanzi University, Yuntech University. New Zealand, working in Hokkaido University. So United States, China, Japan, Vietnam, as well as now I'm building a good relationship with this Universitas Pendidikan unit Indonesia. So hopefully we have more collaboration in the future, right? With Sheffield, with Monash, and with Thailand University as well. So before I end, I would like to share with you that not only publish a journal, right? Publish a book also important because journal normally will read by a scientist, yeah, read by a researcher. But in book, right, normally we read by the wider audience, okay, on maybe secondary school, maybe teacher, maybe different industry player, they will read the book. So that's why I'm starting from 2019. I have the ambitions that I want to publish a book every year. So what I do is I publish this I did a book which is called Bioprocess Engineering, focus on downstream. So we write this book so that we have better audience, where we know, let people know what is this bioprocess about. So as I mentioned, we also developed a new system we call liquid bioreactor system. So we cut liquid bioreactor system with this work together with my students. You can see Lisa Yin and Dr. Chiu Win. So we think that this actually is new method. We want to share with more people. That's why we write a book called Liquid Bioreactor System. We also written a book. We think that after this pandemic, right, definitely a lot of people will focus in industry 4.0, but we think the industry 4.0 is still not enough. So we focus on this industry 5.0 in biomanufacturing. So we work together with my students as well as my ex-supervisor. You can see I still keep in touch with my ex-supervisor. The prospect of industry 5.0 in biomanufacturing in CNC. I think this book is available online now. Other than that, I also would like to invite everyone to join the conference, right? I believe now the border is slowly open. So in fact, I'm trying to make it a physical conference, right? Which is a sponsor. The theme of this conference is the Green Industry Revolution for the next decade. So we plan to have it in Langkawi, which is Relief Island, 4 to 6 August. So feel free to scan to know more information about the conference. So this is my last slide. So I'm quite responsive. You can email to me. You can, this is my contact number. You can scan this QR code to Line, WeChat, WhatsApp, my Facebook Messenger, as well as our research group website. Right. I think thank you. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Professor.
Yeah,
That was
welcome.
quite a dense presentation, I believe. I would love to ask you like at least a dozen questions here because you give us such a very comprehensive and deep. I cannot say that's it. It can be called introduction because you have tell us too much. I think very much things, but I do believe that we still have several questions that we would ask, such as how do we come up with some idea for writing, something like that, how to increase our English proficiency for writing or something like that. But the most important thing I think is how do we choose the right journals, right? So in here, some of your suggestion include like something like, do you cite the journal that you would like to publish in, right? Okay. For participant, if you have question regarding the presentation that was given by Professor Lok, Professor, you can put your question in the chat room, or you can raise your hand during the Q&A session. But first, we come to our next speaker, Dr. Andrea Tiningrum. She is currently a lecturer at Gajah Mada University from Faculty of Agricultural Technology. She graduated for her doctoral degree from Vienna, I believe. Dr. Andrea Tiningrum, time is yours.
Thank you so much, moderator. Pak Aziz ya, Pak?
Iya, Bu. Iya.
Pak.
Iya, Bu. Ini yang ketiga kayaknya kita ketemu di sini.
Oh iya, alhamdulillah masih bisa silaturahim. Assalamualaikum, good afternoon everyone. Selamat siang. First of all, I would like to say thank you very much to Bu Heli for this great invitation and also thank you Prof. Show for the great lecture, very insightful lecture. Learn a lot during your lecture. Okay, please allow me to share my presentation. But hopefully, is it okay, Bu Heli, if I deliver in Bahasa?
Yeah. Please feel free Bu Ningrum to deliver your stuff also in Bahasa. Don't worry, Professor Shaw, yes.
No, yeah, I can understand Bahasa, no worry.
Okay. Is it okay now? Sudah bisa terlihat Bapak Ibu?
Yes, we can see it.
Oke,
Monggo,
baik.
Bu.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Aziz. Terima kasih sekali lagi kepada Bu Heli dan Pak Aziz yang memoderatori webinar hari ini gitu. Nama saya Andrea Tiningrum. Saat ini saya bekerja di Departemen Teknologi Pangan dan Hasil Pertanian di Fakultas Teknologi Pertanian Universitas Gajah Mada. Alhamdulillah di webinar hari ini juga saya melihat beberapa kolega Pak Eko dari Universitas Diponegoro ya. Halo Pak Eko, selamat siang. Kemudian ada juga beberapa mahasiswi kami ini ada yang hadir di webinar hari ini ya. Semoga kita bisa belajar banyak, terutama tadi dari Prof. Show ya, banyak mendapatkan informasi terkait bagaimana kita mensubmit ke jurnal, kemudian ada juga evaluasi jurnal seperti apa gitu ya. Baik, izinkan saya sedikit sharing ya, bagaimana mempersiapkan dan mensubmit manuskrip ke jurnal. Walaupun tadi Prof. Show juga sudah menjelaskan. Semoga suara saya bisa terdengar jelas ya, Bu Heli, Pak Aziz. Mohon.
Jelas, Bu.
Ya, jika terputus-putus, mohon izin nanti off cam. Mungkin ada challenge sinyal gitu. Baik, oke. Jadi ini outline terkait materi yang ingin saya sampaikan ya, walaupun beberapa sudah dijelaskan ya oleh Prof. Show tadi secara komprehensif dan lengkap, tapi izinkan saya untuk mengupdate lagi gitu ya. Nah, ini ada ilustrasi ya, Bapak Ibu, rekan-rekan semua. Di sini ada bisa jadi ya peneliti ya yang sudah menulis manuskripnya dan ingin mempublishnya di sebuah jurnal. Ya. Namun di perjalanannya, di saat dia ingin mensubmit, ini kira-kira ada beberapa orang, kalau kita lihat agak horor juga ya, ada yang membawa pedang, ada yang membawa senjata di sini. Kira-kira ada yang menebak siapakah itu? Mungkin Bapak Ibu ada yang punya insight?
Editor, reviewer.
Editor dan reviewer ke situ pasti. Pasti editor dan reviewer
Iya.
itu.
Gitu ya, Pak Aziz dan Bu Haili ya, ini yang pasti sudah banyak jam terbangnya ya. Tapi sebenarnya ya kita berpositif thinking ya, seperti Prof. Show tadi kemukakan ya, jangan merasa terdemotivasi gitu. Andai kata selama perjalanan kita mensubmit manuskrip kita ke sebuah jurnal itu mendapatkan mungkin feedback yang tidak kita inginkan misalnya. Tapi ya kita yakin itu untuk mengimprove kualitas dari manuskrip kita ya. Andai kata di reject, ya insya Allah kita bisa perbaiki ya dan bisa disubmit ke jurnal lainnya. Gitu ya, kita berpositif thinking saja. Nah ini juga tadi sudah dijelaskan oleh Prof. Show mengenai peer review proses ya, bagaimana diawali dari author ya mencoba menulis manuskripnya ya sesuai guidelines of author dari sebuah jurnal ya. Kemudian nanti akan di-handling oleh General Office yang akan mengkomunikasikan ke editornya ya. Kira-kira manuskripnya ini sesuai nggak dengan scope jurnal tersebut? Atau jangan-jangan terlalu jauh gitu ya bidangnya? Nah, jika memang sudah misalnya sesuai scope-nya dan penulisannya baik, novelty-nya baik gitu, setelah dicek plagiatnya gitu tidak ada gitu ya. Biasanya ada tools yang mungkin Bapak Ibu atau rekan-rekan semua pernah dengar Turnitin software ya yang bisa mengecek gitu ya kualitas manuskripnya, ada kesamaan similarity indexnya seperti apa gitu. Nanti editor akan meneruskan ke reviewer ya. Reviewernya pun bervariasi ya. Tadi Prof. Show sudah mengemukakan bisa 2 orang expert atau bisa juga 3 gitu ya, tergantung kebijakan dari editorial jurnal tersebut. Nah, kemudian reviewer tadi akan memberikan feedback ya terhadap manuskrip yang disubmit oleh author ya. Kira-kira bagaimana ya kualitas manuskripnya gitu? Apakah baik ataukah memang terlalu jauh berbeda dengan apa yang mereka harapkan dan juga jurnal tersebut ya. Andai kata misalnya masih bisa diteruskan atau kualitasnya baik ya, nanti beberapa poin akan dituliskan oleh reviewer untuk improvement manuskrip tersebut ya, yang kemudian akan diteruskan hasilnya ke editor lagi ya. Nanti editor akan memberikan saran kepada author ya berdasarkan saran masukan dari expert reviewer tadi ya. Kemudian author pun kalau memang bisa menerima dan memahami ya, tadi bisa kalau nggak salah ada major revision, ada minor revision gitu ya. Atau kalau 100% diterima sih jarang sekali ya. Tadi Prof. Show menyebutkan hanya 1% ya. Itu mungkin banyak-banyak berdoa dan memang ikhtiarnya luar biasa gitu. Kemudian author akan merevise manuskripnya ya berdasarkan saran dari editor dan juga reviewer. Nanti editor akan mengevaluasi kembali jika sudah baik kualitasnya, improvementnya. Nanti editor akan meneruskan ya ke bagian publishing begitu. Sejauh ini ada yang ingin dikonfirmasi Bapak Ibu atau rekan-rekan semua? Insya Allah oke ya, saya lanjut. Ya ini ada istilah ya, writing an article is like teaching ya, dimana kita berusaha sharing knowledge atau sharing hasil penelitian kita gitu. We never lose knowledge if we try to share the knowledge ya, insya Allah begitu. Dan juga tadi sudah dikemukakan bahwa terkadang memang untuk mensubmit manuskrip dan dipublikasikan di jurnal manuskrip tersebut itu merupakan syarat ya untuk kelulusan, terutama untuk mahasiswi pasca sarjana misalnya, baik itu master atau doctorate. Nah, ini ada satu ilustrasi ya dari PhD Comics ya, terkait sejauh mana nih ibunya nanya, gimana nih perkembangan disertasi kamu, nulis papernya udah baik belum, begitu ya. Ya memang menulis manuskrip sampai dipublikasikan di jurnal itu persyaratan ya di beberapa sekolah pasca sarjana. Dan kita juga perlu memahami ya sebagai autor gitu, ada 3 grup penting yang akan menjadi pembaca dari manuskrip kita gitu ya. Tadi sudah belajar ada editor ya. Maksudnya editor itu dia adalah yang akan pertama mengevaluasi kira-kira ini manuskripnya cocok nggak ya untuk dipublikasikan di jurnal ini gitu. Ya, apakah nantinya juga jika dipublikasikan ini highly downloaded and highly cited ya, yang nanti kaitannya dengan impact factor jurnal tersebut gitu. Kemudian selama proses peer review yang pasti ada pihak reviewers ya, yang mereka akan menilai ya kira-kira studi yang dilakukan oleh peneliti tersebut ini penting tidak untuk perkembangan bidangnya gitu. Dan apakah data yang mereka peroleh ya dan interpretasinya itu bisa dipercaya gitu. Tidak ada falsifikasi dan sebagainya. Kemudian nantinya kalau misalnya sudah dipublikasikan ya di jurnal tersebut ya, pastinya ada pihak peers ya, kolega kita, misalnya yang satu bidang ya, kira-kira jurnalnya itu berimpact nggak ya ke penelitian mereka yang sedang mereka kembangkan gitu, atau apakah mereka bisa mengulang kembali metodenya itu tervalidasi gitu ya. Nah ini selama proses penulisan manuskrip ya, mungkin mendapatkan banyak love letters ya, banyak merah-merah. Tapi merupakan input pastinya, misalnya dari supervisor yang untuk meningkatkan kualitas dari manuskrip rekan-rekan semua gitu ya. Atau bahkan tadi juga sudah disampaikan, kita memang perlu mempublikasikan ASAP gitu ya. Jangan sampai research yang sudah kita lakukan sudah dipublikasikan. Kita perlu cari novelty-nya atau research gap-nya gitu. Andai kata memang sudah terpublikasikan. Izinkan saya ya, ini flashback waktu saya studi PhD dulu di Austria. Jadi kebetulan saya ingin meneliti terkait komponen flavor di daun pandan gitu. Ternyata saya temukan ya ada beberapa penelitian yang memang sudah meneliti gitu. Ini saya sampai menemukan beberapa jurnal dengan title yang hampir sama, tapi setelah ini tahun sebelumnya itu di sini tahun 2004 ya, mereka mengevaluasi volatile components dari pandan leaf. Ini juga sebelumnya juga sudah ada gitu ya. Kok sama ya? Tapi ini jurnalnya berbeda. Kemudian malah baru-baru ini juga masih ada gitu yang meneliti tentang volatile compounds. Tapi setelah dibaca di jurnalnya, itu ada perbedaan, ada novelty dari masing-masing. Oh ternyata yang ini ya, jurnal ini preparasinya berbeda dengan preparasi sampelnya itu berbeda-beda di jurnal sebelumnya yang nanti efeknya ke recovery di volatile compounds-nya gitu. Ya. Jadi penting untuk mencari research gap. Kemudian karena memang bidang saya food science ya, dan banyak belajar juga terkait autentifikasi ya. Saat ini banyak sekali ya isu-isu adulterasi pada beberapa komponen pangan premium ya. Mungkin rekan-rekan tahu ya minyak zaitun itu kan premium ya, harganya lumayan ya Pak Aziz ya. Iya. Ini ada jurnal-jurnal yang juga mencoba mengevaluasi bagaimana sih cara autentikasi kalau ini tuh benar virgin olive oil gitu, tidak diadulterasi, tidak ditambahkan dengan misalnya minyak kacang atau minyak lainnya gitu ya. Ini selalu berkembang dan pasti ada research gap di masing-masing jurnalnya, itu ada novelty-nya ya. Ada istilah great papers come from great question. Jadi pada manuskrip Anda nanti ya kita perlu menyampaikan apa sih yang kita investigate, variabelnya apa saja. Misalnya kita mau melihat pengaruh ekstraksi pada recovery volatile compounds di satu sampel ya. Kemudian yang diukur tadi volatile compounds-nya dengan apa? Dengan chromatography gas atau dengan ada mekanisme yang lain gitu, instrumen lain ya. INUS misalnya yang rapid detection. Kemudian sampelnya secara spesifik kita peroleh dari mana gitu ya, dari lokasi apa itu perlu ditampilkan di manuskrip kita. Nanti ada sesi diskusi ya Pak Aziz ya. Baik, mungkin nanti ini bisa kita diskusikan bersama ya dengan rekan-rekan yang hadir di sini ya, sharing session. Kira-kira alasannya apa sih rekan-rekan ingin menulis manuskrip dan ingin mempublikasikannya pada jurnal? Ya, suara saya masih terdengar ya Pak? Atau terputus-putus?
Masih lancar Bu, masih lancar. Alhamdulillah masih lancar.
Oke, alhamdulillah. Iya. Baik, tadi juga Prof. Syau sudah menyampaikan ya terkait beberapa database jurnal ya yang bisa kita cari untuk memberikan insight kepada kita, kira-kira kita ingin mempublikasikan manuskripnya di mana ya? Kalau di Indonesia ya, mungkin rekan-rekan di sini pernah dengar tentang database Sinta, Rama Sinta, pasti tahu ya. Pernah buka? Pak Aziz pernah coba mungkin atau Bu Heli? Iya. Ini database Sinta ini juga bisa menjadikan satu starting point mencari kira-kira saya ingin mempublikasikannya kalau di jurnal nasional ini yang terindeks Sinta di jurnal apa ya? Kalau untuk di Scopus kan ada Q1 sampai Q4 ya. Tadi sudah dijelaskan juga ya oleh Prof. Syau ya. Kalau untuk database Sinta di sini dari S1 sampai S6 ya. Oke. Ini salah satu jurnal di fakultas kami, Agritek, yang alhamdulillah sudah Sinta 2, ya, skopnya terkait dengan teknologi pertanian, ya. Dan di sini bisa dapat informasi ya di database Sinta ini, homepage dari jurnal tersebut, gitu ya. Kemudian beberapa recent publication dan sebagainya. Kemudian dari database Sinta tadi, kan kita tahu ada link homepage-nya dan kita bisa mengakses mendapatkan informasi platform Agritek ya, kemudian mendapatkan banyak info terkait guidelines of author dan sebagainya ya, proses submitting dan sebagainya di platform jurnalnya. Ya. Kemudian kalau misalnya kita mau mencari database internasional ya, salah satunya bisa database jurnal internasional, salah satunya bisa dari SGR. Mungkin Bapak Ibu sudah pernah mengakses database jurnal ini untuk mencari beberapa jurnal internasional, sudah kuartil berapa gitu ya. Ini bisa didapatkan dari ini ya, SDR ya. Kebetulan kemarin ini kolaborasi dengan Bu Herli ya, Bu Ais dan Pak Eko ya. Kita menulis manuskrip yang alhamdulillah bisa dipublikasikan ke GFPP ini ya. Tapi pertama-tama saya juga nyari dari database SDR ini yang tepat tuh jurnal apa ya, karena memang kita mengembangkan edible film yang diaplikasikan untuk preservasi daging segar begitu, dan kami memutuskan untuk disubmit di jurnal ini. Dan dari informasi tadi pada database SDR kami bisa mengakses ke platform GFPP ya. Kemudian dari situ sebelumnya juga ini ada beberapa tips ya mungkin bagi rekan-rekan ya untuk mencari mana saya harus mensubmit manuskrip saya ke jurnal apa gitu ya. Ya pertama kita harus tahu ya scope dari jurnalnya itu istilahnya terkait nggak dengan apa yang kita teliti gitu. Seperti tadi GFPP memang ternyata itu cocok ya untuk hasil publikasi kami gitu ya. Karena banyak sekali recent publikasi yang update di GFPP itu menginvestigasi terkait aplikasi edible film pada pangan segar begitu. Ya alhamdulillah juga sudah tercited oleh Scopus gitu ya, dan kemudian kita tadi juga sudah disampaikan ya untuk memilih tipe publication mode-nya apa, open access atau tidak gitu. Kalau open access ya setiap orang di seluruh dunia bisa mendownload dengan gratis nanti jurnal Bapak Ibu sekalian gitu. Tapi ada artikel processing charge yang harus kita alokasikan gitu ya sebagai author. Kalau yang not open access ya biasanya tidak ada article processing of charge. Kemudian juga perlu mempertimbangkan publication speed, seberapa lama ya dari proses submit, kemudian sampai publikasi. Ya, sampai untuk kelulusan ternyata setahun gitu ya. Waduh, jadi nggak lulus-lulus, jangan-jangan gitu ya. Kemudian impact factor-nya, dari kaitannya Prof. Show juga sudah menjelaskan terkait perhitungan impact factor ya. Ini ada contoh ya informasi terkait publication speed ya di Nature ternyata juga berbeda-beda ini ya sama di Nature, tapi ada yang misalnya dari proses submit sampai proses decision oleh editor tuh ada yang hanya butuh 4 hari ya, tapi ada juga yang butuh sampai 15 hari ya. Kemudian ini contohnya juga publication speed dari Springer Open yang kita bisa dapatkan informasinya dari platform jurnal tersebut ya. Jadi berbeda-beda tiap jurnal itu untuk publication speed-nya ya. Begitu, ini yang untuk Elsevier, yang untuk Plant Science ya, untuk proses review sendiri oleh reviewer itu membutuhkan setidaknya 3 minggu ya. Ini hanya mereview saja reviewernya ya. Oke, mungkin ini nanti saya ingin diskusikan bersama pada rekan-rekan sekalian ya. Baik, pertama kali untuk menyiapkan manuskrip kita, ya tadi Prof. Show juga sudah menyampaikan, bisa membaca guidelines for other gitu ya, menyesuaikan penulisan manuskrip sesuai tujuan jurnalnya. Kita bisa dapatkan informasinya di platform jurnal tersebut. Dan bagaimana misalnya di sini ada informasi title-nya jangan lebih dari 40 karakter ya gitu. Kalau panjang sekali harus dibuat lebih pendek. Dan beberapa requirements lain ya. Dan juga ini salah satu tips ya. Kalau bisa membaca yang sudah dipublish di jurnal tersebut dan topiknya sama dengan manuskrip kita yang ingin kita publish gitu ya. Ini kebetulan di GFPP ini cukup banyak ya penelitian yang sudah dipublish terkait aplikasi edible film ya untuk menjaga kualitas dari pangan ya. Kemudian setelah sudah mendapatkan banyak insight gitu ya dari studi literatur di jurnal yang sama, tapi tidak menutup kemungkinan untuk juga dapat studi literatur di jurnal yang berbeda ya. Ya kita menyiapkan manuskrip kita gitu ya. Ini contoh manuskrip yang kemarin kami coba siapkan ya. Dan jangan lupa ya koautornya siapa saja itu perlu kita komunikasikan bersama. Dan reference manager juga cukup penting ya dalam menulis manuskrip gitu. Ini karena kadang-kadang sangat banyak ya 20, 25 atau berapa gitu ya. Ini reference manager sangat membantu ya. Yang free ini ada Mendeley, Zotero ya. Mungkin rekan-rekan kalau EndNote mungkin berbayar gitu ya. Di sini ada rekan-rekan yang sudah menggunakan reference manager mungkin dalam menulis skripsi, tesis atau manuskripnya. Adakah? Kalau Pak Aziz bagaimana?
Mendeley sih biasanya yang itu lebih familiar.
Ya, Oke, baik. Sama saya juga sering pakai Mendeley, lebih convenient gitu. Berapa banyak jumlah referensi yang kita gunakan ya, jangan terlalu banyak juga dan tidak terlalu sedikit. Kita bisa dapat idenya dari membaca tadi ya, yang sudah dipublikasi mereka banyak menggunakan referensi jumlahnya berapa gitu. Untuk Mendeley sendiri ya mungkin Pak Aziz juga sudah familiar ya, bisa di adds in ya di Microsoft Word ya Pak ya, gitu. Jadi sambil menulis ini sangat mudah sekali gitu ya. Dengan menggunakan reference manager, stylenya juga bisa memilih ya sesuai style jurnal yang kita tuju begitu. Dan ini database yang kita siapkan referensi-referensi ya jurnal-jurnal yang akan kita citasi. Dan tools lain ya, selain tadi reference manager, ini saya sering menggunakan Grammarly. Kebetulan saya bukan native speaker, jadi untuk ngecek ini ya terkait grammar ya, terutama untuk jurnal internasional ya bisa menggunakan Grammarly ini. Nah ini kebetulan free yang saya gunakan, atau misalnya ada teman yang native speaker ya bisa juga meminta bantuan untuk mengimprove ya kualitas dari bahasa Inggrisnya gitu dari manuskrip kita ya. Kemudian ada Quillbot juga di sini ya. Ini untuk parafrase ya. Untuk menurunkan similarity index dari manuskrip kita, karena biasanya publisher atau jurnal itu akan mengecek ya similarity index ya, mereka misalnya menggunakan Turnitin ya. Jadi kalau misalnya similarity index-nya 72%, waduh, bisa-bisa langsung di reject gitu. Kalau bisa rendah ya, 30%, 10% ya gitulah, jangan terlalu tinggi ya. Ini jangan-jangan hasil kopas tadi ya gitu. Ya. Baik. Kemudian kalau kita sudah menyiapkan manuskrip kita dengan optimal tadi ya, tiba saatnya untuk mensubmit manuskrip kita gitu ya. Anda bisa mengakses ya platform dari jurnal tersebut. Nih contohnya di FTP kemarin, ya harus membuat account dulu ya, seperti membuat account email gitu ya, user ID, passwordnya, kemudian start new submission. Kemudian kebetulan untuk JFPP sendiri ini ada beberapa step ya. Yang pertama pasti mereka menanyakan ini original artikel atau review atau mungkin invited review atau yang lain gitu ya. Kemarin ya saya ngeceknya ini original artikel. Kemudian step kedua yaitu mengupload manuskrip ya. Kemudian selain manuskrip juga ada gambar, tabel, graphical abstract gitu ya, yang kita menguploadnya di platform ini. Kemudian step yang selanjutnya yaitu menuliskan keyword ya, kata kunci penting ya dari hasil penelitian kita begitu. Dan jangan lupa di sini juga untuk dia menanyakan ya apakah benar-benar autornya sendiri yang mensubmit atau ada pihak ketiga ya submitting agent-nya gitu, itu juga ternyata bisa ya. Dan juga menuliskan beberapa koautor kita, alamat afiliasinya di mana gitu ya, emailnya, bahkan phone number gitu ya. Untuk itu. Kemudian dari jurnal ini juga menanyakan recommend reviewer gitu. Dia menyarankan kita, autor, perlu menuliskan 3 ya minimalnya. Mau 5 silahkan, mau 10 silahkan gitu ya kalau ingin menuliskan reviewer untuk manuskrip kita gitu ya. Walaupun nanti yang mendecide siapa reviewernya ya oleh editor lagi gitu ya. Tapi kita bisa menyarankan. Ini kita bisa dapat informasi misalnya siapa saja yang potential researcher yang bisa menjadi reviewer kita. Tadi Prof. Shaw juga sudah menunjukkan Pablons ya, bisa memberikan informasi terkait itu. Kemudian setelah itu adalah cover letter yang ditujukan ke pihak editor ya. Kita perlu mengattach-nya. Apa itu cover letter ya? Umumnya hanya 1 halaman saja ya. Kita mengenalkan mengenai manuskrip kita. Ini kita menemukan finding important things-nya apa gitu. Ya. Kemudian kenapa cocok untuk jurnal tersebut gitu. Apakah memang sesuai dengan scope-nya atau ada tambahan informasi lain seperti publication ethics tadi sudah dijelaskan. Atau di cover letter juga bisa menyarankan beberapa reviewer yang tadi sebenarnya kita sudah mengupload di platformnya. Ini ada satu contoh, bisa dilihat ya, contoh cover letter ya. Ya berusaha ya untuk mengimpress dari jurnal editor ya, supaya bisa diterima manuskrip kita. Ya, begitu. Kemudian di step ke-6 di sini juga mereka menanyakan terkait funding ya. Hasil penelitian yang kita tuangkan di manuskrip kita itu apakah disupport oleh founders tertentu ya, apakah dari perusahaan atau dari pemerintah dan sebagainya, mereka biasanya menanyakan di sini. Dan juga ada tambahan informasi di sini, mereka menanyakan berapa banyak gambar yang kita upload ya, tabel atau jumlah kata dalam manuskrip kita. Nah, tahap terakhir ini adalah proses mereview semua step yang tadi sudah kita lakukan ya, baru submit. Kebetulan ini saya trial, jadi saya tidak mengisi apa-apa ya. Jadi di sini ada keterangan, oh Anda belum menuliskan title-nya, belum mengupload manuskripnya, belum mengupload gambarnya dan sebagainya, belum mengupload siapa saja autornya. Jadi kita nggak bisa submit, makanya ini merah semua. Tapi kalau sudah semua step tadi dilalui ya insya Allah bisa langsung submit, dan setelah submit nanti akan dapat informasi ya kalau manuskrip kita sudah disubmit dan sudah diterima oleh mereka begitu. Kemudian tahap selanjutnya adalah peer review yang dilakukan oleh reviewer ya, yang akan mengevaluasi bagaimana sih kualitas manuskrip kita gitu ya. Kemudian pentingnya studi yang dilakukan oleh author ini apa gitu ya, novelty-nya apa gitu ya. Setelah direview oleh reviewer ya, nanti ada decision letters ya yang disampaikan oleh pihak jurnal ke author gitu ya. Kalau kira-kira menurut Bapak Ibu nih hasil decision letters-nya oleh jurnal tersebut baik atau tidak ya? Bisa dilanjutkan atau tidak? Kira-kira. Apa di reject?
Diterima.
Gimana Mbak Dian?
Tidak di reject, Bu. Bisa dilanjutkan tapi harus melalui proses revisi terlebih dahulu.
Betul, 100 kali. Ya, ini nanti saya kasih bonus ya Mbak Dian sama-sama di Jogja.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Ya, terima kasih feedback-nya ya. Alhamdulillah ya, tadi manuskripnya bisa dilanjutkan ke tahap selanjutnya, tapi harus direvisi dahulu ya. Di sini juga diberikan informasi bagaimana cara meresubmitnya jika sudah direvisi ya, harus pakai platform OJS juga. Ya, yang direvisi tolong ditandai bold atau teks berwarna begitu ya. Dan ada due date-nya juga, jangan lama-lama gitu ya. Jangan ditinggal tidur kelamaan gitu ya. Ini ada due date-nya, harus mensubmit revisinya. Ya. Ini contoh ya pada saat merevisi manuskripnya, misalnya tadi diwarnai perubahannya atau kalau ada yang dihilangkan ya, dicoret begitu ya, nanti diinformasikan juga di surat yang kita kirimkan selanjutnya ke pihak jurnal. Ini kebetulan yang kemarin Bu Heli ya. Jadi biasanya saya pakai track change ya di sini, karena kalau udah melakukan perubahan di manuskrip versi sebelumnya, itu terlihat mana yang ditambahkan, mana yang dihilangkan gitu. Jadi udah otomatis ya. Dan ini respon letter yang kita kirimkan ya ke jurnal ya, yang pasti kita sudah berusaha untuk merevisi berdasarkan saran dari reviewer tadi ya. Dan kita sudah meng-highlight perubahan-perubahan yang kita lakukan di mana saja begitu ya. Ini juga contoh letter ke editornya gitu. Perubahan-perubahan apa yang sudah kita lakukan gitu sesuai saran dari mereka ya. Kebetulan ini cukup banyak ya, pertama dapat major revision gitu. Kalau sudah ya, alhamdulillah kemarin setelah merevisi 1 kali diberikan kesempatan di accept begitu Bu Heli, ini sekalian laporan juga. Dan juga nanti mendapatkan informasi ya kalau sekarang ada di tahap publishing ya. Dan kadang terdapat minor revision lagi gitu, tapi tidak cukup signifikan. Dan kita dapatkan ini final version yang kita harus cek lagi ya begitu Bu Heli ya. Kemarin juga minta banyak masukan, kira-kira yang sudah kita revisi ini kira-kira masih ada yang harus diimprove lagi atau dikoreksi lagi. Jadi kita berkomunikasi dengan para co-author ya setelah mendapatkan final version dari manuskrip kita. Dan tadi Prof. Show juga sudah menjelaskan terkait ya ini ya CTA ya, Copyright Transfer Agreement, yang memang perlu kita approve. Kalau tidak ya tidak bisa publish begitu ya, di situ saja walaupun sudah di-accept tapi publisher tidak mau mempublishnya gitu. Dan nanti ada informasi your article is now published online begitu. Ini ya Bu Heli, Pak Eko juga ya yang bisa kita akses, dan perlu mensyukuri bisa di-accept. Dan tadi Prof. Show juga perlu menyampaikan ya, kita perlu mensosialisasikan nih hasil penelitian kita yang sudah dipublikasikan ya. Kalau ini contohnya bisa di-share ya di beberapa platform sosmed gitu ya. Kalau YouTuber pasti akan bilang please share, like, follow, comment pada videonya ya. Kalau author itu kira-kira please share or cited ya our jurnal ya Bu Heli. Demikian yang bisa saya sampaikan, Bu Heli, Pak Aziz, ya rekan-rekan semua. Semoga bermanfaat. Maaf jika ada hal-hal yang kurang berkenan ya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Bu Nigam itu atas penjelasannya. Lumayan ya, berarti pengalaman barusan tadi sekalian itu tadi Bu Heli laporan itu tadi progres itu ya. Silakan kepada para peserta yang jika ada yang ingin bertanya bisa masukkan ke chat room atau silakan raise hand. Ini udah ada, saya nggak tahu ini Bu Dian apa Bu Nurul ini.
Oh iya, Dian
Silakan.
Pak.
Please.
Baik, terima kasih atas kesempatannya. Sebelumnya terima kasih kepada Dr. Ningrum atas penyampaian atas materi yang luar biasa. Perkenalkan, saya Dian dari Universitas Gadjah Mada ingin menanyakan dua hal, yaitu yang pertama, apa yang perlu dilakukan oleh autor apabila reviewer meminta data tambahan, Bu. Sedangkan untuk sumber daya atau untuk pengambilan data selanjutnya itu tidak memungkinkan seperti itu. Yang kedua, apabila ingin menargetkan untuk publish di artikel Q1, apakah mayoritas dari metode dan pembahasan atau artikel-artikel yang disitasi itu juga harus berasal dari Q1 ya, Bu? Terima kasih, Bu Ningrum.
Baik, boleh izin menjawab ini Pak Aziz?
Mangga Ibu, monggo.
Iya, baik. Terima kasih Mbak Dian atas pertanyaannya ya. Yang pertama itu pertanyaannya yaitu apa yang harus dilakukan oleh author jika dari pihak jurnal meminta data tambahan ya, supplementary material begitu ya? Iya. Apakah sekarang kondisinya Anda bisa memprovide gitu datanya? Atau agak sulit? Kalau memang bisa ya, sebenarnya tadi yang di platform pada saat kita men-submit manuskrip, dia juga memberikan opportunity kita bisa mengupload supplementary material hasil data kita dalam Excel misalnya di situ, yang itu bisa juga memberikan pertimbangan ke pihak jurnal untuk meng-accept misalnya manuskrip kita, karena kita sudah istilahnya mempunyai data yang cukup lengkap yang kita upload di supplementary material. Kemudian untuk yang kedua ya, jika Anda ingin mempublikasikan di artikel yang di jurnal yang Q1 gitu, apa citasinya harus Q1 juga gitu. Sepertinya tidak 100% begitu ya Bu Heli ya. Atau maybe Prof. Show would like to share, maybe if we would like to submit in the journal, in Q1 journal, do we have cited or refer the reference from the Q1 journal also? Because you have more experience. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the questions. Yeah. Based on my understanding, I don't think so. Yeah, because as I mentioned in my presentation, don't simply cite the paper, right? Even you want to publish in Q1 journal, yeah, no need necessarily cite all the references from Q1 journal. Yeah, just cite whatever that is relevant, that is related to your paper. That's all. Yeah. Yeah, this is important because most of the journal, they have a limitation, they have limit number of citation for the references. Yeah. If you oversight, then you will look like you simply cite. If you so it's not good for your journal as well. Yeah.
And Professor, there is another question before. The first question is actually relating also to the publication.
Yes.
What
yes,
if the journal what if
Understand,
the journal
understand.
is yeah,
Let me answer the question.
right.
Right. So
Thank you.
yeah, the question is about the reviewer or the editor asks additional information, but however the data is already not available. In my opinions, right? Yeah, try to be honest with the editor, honest with the reviewer. If you really cannot provide the additional data, just tell them, yeah, say this is a reason. Make sure you provide a valid reason, maybe one or two reason. Yeah. So with that case, right, I believe they are human being. They understand also. They will know this is the reason you cannot do it. But no worry, this is will be for future study, future recommendation. I believe they will understand as well. Yeah, no need to hide anything. Yeah, no need to worry. Yeah, just be honest to them. I believe they will understand. Right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay. Other participant, if you have any question, please do put them in the chat room. For the meantime, there are questions that was sent directly to me here. I don't know which one is for Dr. Ningrum or which one is for Professor Show. This one is actually for publication in general, I believe. So, are there any tips for if we don't have sufficiently good, if we are not have sufficiently good data for let's say Q1 or Q2, should we how do we like the word it was used here with polish the data so we can make it to a very good journal? Please, perhaps Professor Show first.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for the questions. Right. So let's say you don't have a good data. You don't have a very interesting data compared to what data already reported, what data already published. Right. So I think you must able to sell it in other way around. Yeah. Because you cannot just highlight your data is better than other data, but you must sell it in other way around because you want to publish in a good journal, but you want audience look at the different perspective, different point of view. So normally people will appreciate that way because let's say you cannot win, you cannot produce a data better than the paper, the data already published. But the point that you mentioned, the view that you talk about, the way the explanation is better than other things. Yeah, I think that is a winning chance for you to get published or get accepted compared to have better result. Because a lot of I can see a lot of paper, right? They have very good result, but they don't know how to elaborate. They don't know how to explain it. In the end, they publish in the not Q1 journal. So, but however, I can see a lot of little bit data. Yeah, maybe the data not very good, right? But they're still able to publish in a very good journal. But the way of explaining, the way of elaborating, the way of the viewing of the result is different for other people. That make the work more better and yeah, interesting. Yeah, this is my opinion. I think it work for many things. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Professor. I think a bit more elaboration on the question, perhaps. This is from myself actually. How do we, given an interesting data, how do we elaborate more on the data such that we can make that data to be interesting?
Okay, maybe let me give you one example because let's say due to this pandemic, you are difficult to go to lab. You only conduct limited data. Okay, maybe you have 3 parameter only. So other people already reported 5 parameter or 10 parameter, but you have 3 only. What you can do is you do the relationship between these 3 parameter, which people will not done it. Yeah, with that case, right? Maybe you will have something different for other people. Maybe this is more important compared to people already done 10 parameter, but they do not link the relationship between the parameter. So this is one example you can think of it. Yeah, of course, yeah, there's more things to do. Yeah, maybe you can do the scale of the result. Maybe you can do the relationship of this what. Yeah, so you can link something to view from different angle. So make your data more beautiful. I can say. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.
Dr. Ningrum, do you have perhaps any additional things to add to that?
Hello. I
Yes.
think Professor Show already explained very great about that one. Yeah, I think it's okay. Yeah, please don't polish too much your data or falsify that one because it will be dangerous for your future. I think. Ya, oke. Jadi memang data yang sudah ada ya kita perlu laporkan 100% jujur ya, Bapak Ibu ya. Jika memang masih belum sesuai harapan atau hipotesisnya negatif ya, ya tidak apa-apa dibahas ya nanti diimprove di kemudian hari begitu bagi saya. Gimana Pak Aziz?
Ya, ya sepertinya cukup Bu. Ya, terima kasih. Alright, I think this is the last question for today. Actually, where is it again? I forgot where I put that. Okay.
Can I ask a question, Pak Hafiz?
Yeah, because there isn't that much question because I think the presentation is actually very good, so they don't really have a lot of question for that. Yeah. Where did I put that question? Oh yeah, here it is. How do you know whether the data you have is good enough for a publication? Because sometimes just like the previous question from Budian, the reviewer asked for data, right? So how do we know whether the data is enough, and how do we know we don't have sufficient enough data, and how do we know the novelty of the data, right? The novelty of the data or idea, because sometimes the data is too novel, the idea is too novel, such that we basically have very little sources to cite. I believe that is the question. Yeah, I think I put it like the way that it should be. Perhaps Bu Andrea Tiningrum first.
Iya, terima kasih Pak Aziz ya. Thank you so much for the great question. Ya, be confident ya, percaya diri ya. Literatur review pasti kita sudah lakukan. Ya, we have a literature review. We made the proposal. We already have the hypothesis, and then we try to prove in the lab. So be confident. Yeah. During the peer review, for sure we will get many positive feedback. Yeah, hopefully. I think that's all, Pak Aziz. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Professor Show, perhaps you have anything else to add?
Okay, yeah, thank you for the questions. So your first question is about how to define whether your data is enough for publication or enough for good journal or not. Yeah, my advice to you is you look at the recent publications, yeah, to see at the recent publication whether the data or the table of figures is the parameter you study is similar, right? The number of that already published or not. So you can take them as a benchmark. Yeah, you benchmark with them. Let's say they already five parameter. They in the 5 parameter they put inside 3 figures and 2 tables. Yeah, that case maybe similar things, right? Because I believe when you writing a paper, you will definitely refer 1 or 2 paper, right? So with that, right, you can see roughly there you already have the enough data already. So that data maybe is suitable for that journal. Yeah, this is the first thing. Yeah, you have to have benchmark with certain journal. All right. Your second question is related to what lah? I cannot remember already.
Second question, Pak Hafiz.
Let me check. I always forgot where I read this thing. I usually write it in Indonesian. That's why I forgot.
Don't worry. Yeah, you can read Indonesia. I can understand.
yeah. The problem is I put it in several pages, so
oh yeah, I remember already. The second question is about novelty. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
it's about
yeah.
the citation.
Yes, yeah, novelty citation. Because
Yes.
you mentioned that sometimes too novel until you have difficult to find the citation to cite, right? Yes, I think this is very good. Yeah, because you think it's too novel, you cannot find until the stage that you cannot find any paper or any journal to refer. So in that case, right, my suggestion to you is you can use a strong word. Yeah, the strong word in your introduction, in your explanation to tell the author or tell the editor that you are the first person to conduct this. Yeah, this research. Yeah, just use the strong word will do. Yeah, to tell people
I
that
see.
this is something that very interesting to find out from our research. Yeah, so that people you highlight this. Yeah, so that people know this is really a novelty of your work. Yeah, I
I
think.
see.
Yeah, thank you.
So
Finally, I remember your question.
I really hate my own memory and my own writing.
Yeah, yeah,
My
yeah. No
writing
worry,
is very
no
messy
worry.
because
No worries. Same to me. My writing is very messy as well. That's why I
yes.
seldom write. I always typing.
I'm glad I'm a computational chemist, so I usually type and don't write. All right. Uh, all right. Thank you, Professor, for and Dr. Ningrum for your addition for your presentation. We have a little bit of break before the next session, which is coaching clinic from Dr. Apuraf and Dr. Galuh and Bu Heli. Bu Ais, is Bu Ais here yet? Bu Heli, you are still muted.
I found Google and also Dr. Apurab has already joined this session from the beginning, I guess. So we will have a break time, and then actually Professor Shaw and also Bu Ningru, please feel free to join the coaching clinic, but you also okay to the first session. Just before we have a break, actually, I'm still wondering to one question only. Okay, now join with us is our student who are now, I believe they are now get many inspiration from this workshop session, since from the first session, first workshop, and also now a second workshop, and how to motivate all the students as a beginner to surely sure that they also as a beginner can publish in the good journal. Is there any strategy or tips from Professor Shaw and Dr. Ningrum as well?
Maybe let me answer this question first. Yeah. All right. So to my dear fellow students, right? Yeah, the motivations for you guys to write a journal paper or to publish a journal paper actually very simple, because you must think of whatever that you have done, right? You just keep it for yourself. Then I think at the end you just get a grade, yeah, maybe A, B, C. Yeah. I think this is not good enough. Yeah. So my suggestion to you guys is try your best to produce something is publishable so that you can benefit society as well as you can improve your CV. I believe in the future, definitely you need to have a good CV to find a job, right? So I think your employer will always very impressive, right? When you have a CV we written that you publish a paper or book, yeah, before, when they will say, wow, you really a good writer, yeah, you good in writing, yeah, you good in communications, in explaining something. I think this is very important to the students, yeah. So try your best to think of the future. While you have this momentum, you have this thinking, from then you will have the motivation to do the experiment, to write a paper, right? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Ming, share also your experience.
Yeah, Bu Heli, it's a little bit difficult for me because I have to ask my students here how to motivate so they can improve the writing to submit the manuscript in the journal maybe. Mbak Dian, Mbak Nurul, Mbak Farah, Mbak Aulia, would you like to share? Sedang malu-malu kayak malu-malu. Okay. But we have a strategy. We have the journal club. Yeah, commonly for the master students after the midterm exam, they have to present evaluations of a high reputable journal. They have to present in front of the colleague, and by that program, the journal club, hopefully to improve the understanding how the author try to communicate the research result like that on the journal. And we also have a meeting in a group, yeah, to motivate them, because one of the requirements to graduate from the master program, yeah, they have to submit a journal. But for the PhD, they have to publish like 2 or 3 journals. Yeah, hopefully it may answer your question, Bu Heli.
Thank you, Bu Indru, and also Professor Shaw. Actually, there is one interesting quote from both of you, because today I got one not interesting, but very best quote that knowledge is meaningless unless you share it. So writing, even to write, is not easy. I believe personally, for me, it's not easy, but still knowledge should be spread to the others, and we have to write it, and we have to spread what we have done for any reason, because for students, the thing that can motivate them to publish is might be a supervisor requirement. And also the second thing, I believe one day you want to continue your study or get a very prospective job, and publication will help. I think will be one thing that can help you to find best career or job position. And I took many credits from 2 workshop sessions, especially from Professor Shaw and also from Morning Room. So every time I follow this session, I really enjoy it. Take so many points for myself. All in all, thank you for both of you.
Thank you also, Bu Heli, Pak Aziz, Prof. Shaw. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Bu Heli, do we still have a break, or should we continue to the next session?
Actually, we have a short break, and then just before we go to the second session, please allow me to again say thank you very much and deeply appreciate it to Professor Shaw and also Bu Minggu for very, very insightful sharing, not only in today's workshop, but also in the other lecture that have already delivered by both of you in this program. Again, thank you so much, and see you in the other session and other programs.
In other occasions.
Yeah, still we have a guest lecture session as a final program. So please keep in touch, and please make sure to join the guest lecture, which will be the session. The session will talk about any insightful view about microalgae. Again, thank you so much for both of you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Okay, but
Okay.
I think we can continue the session. So we
Yes.
can, yeah.
We will.
Also, Bu Ais, I guess Bu Gals is already here.
Yeah, Bu Ice is not here yet.
While waiting, maybe we can welcome Bu Galuh to.
Hello, Bu Galuh. Hello, Bu Galuh. Bu Galuh is here. I can see her name on the list. Yeah, we. How much time do we take for a break? 10 minutes?
So, okay. Let me first inform the a bit a bit a bit information about the today workshop, because we designed a bit different with the first workshop session. Today we will give the opportunity for Ibu Galuh to also to deliver short talk about the publication with the special topic, I guess, and also Bu Siti Aisyah to share the scientific writing for not only for us but especially for a student. So they will get more again more insightful presentation, not only from the first two speakers in the first session, but also from Bu Galuh and Bu Ais in this second session. So Pak Hafid, do we have to take a break for a while or just continue?
No, we don't have to actually. We can just continue.
Okay.
All right. Should we continue then?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Can continue.
Right. All right. Okay. Everybody. For the next session is a coaching clinic. But first, a little bit on writing by Dr. Galuh Yuliani. Bu Galuh, please. Time is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bu Heli, Pak Hafiz, for the introduction and opportunity to present in this workshop. First, I probably need to apologize that I cannot attend the whole session. So hopefully, what I will deliver in this session is not the same thing that you hear from the morning over again. So I hope it is something that is I'm not talking about the same things. That is I'm really hope. So please let me know if it is already given in the previous session, so I don't have to go over the same topics. Probably I will need help from Pak Hafiz to notify if the same topics or the same materials is given.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to share screen first.
Yes, please.
So have you seen my slide?
Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. I'm not sure which part which is have not been given in the previous session, but I have three general topics that I would like to that I prepared for this workshop. The first one is about originality of the academic writing, and then about authorship, and then about ethics. Pak Hafiz, can you advise which one that is actually been discussed previously?
I think the one which have least amount of topics here is on the ethics. So
And the ethics.
originality and novel authorship is mostly covered by last week and this week's presentation by Prof. Show and Dr. April.
So parts of the originality has already been given, and also parts of the ethics, right?
Yes. The least amount is on the ethics of academic writing.
Okay. Okay, so I will just be quick then to because I don't have many slides as well. So I just try to be quick, and I also try to make it more simple, because this is originated from a general course that I was given previously for the master student in Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. So this is, I also prepared this, is not specifically for chemistry, because some of the paper sample that I use is actually from the education field. So hopefully some of them are quite new to you, but yeah, I just start the parts of originality. Okay, so when we talk about originality in academic writing, it is probably something that some kind of a ghost in our paper, because it is something that always asked by the reviewer, something that's always asked by the examiner. For example, if we go to the final exam for skripsi, sidang, or probably yeah, sidang skripsi or thesis, yeah, it is something that always asked over and over again by our examiner. Where is the originality of your research? And yeah, as actually I already passed my PhD, but I still need to look for originality every time I'm doing research, because if I don't have this originality, then I will not be able to publish it, because the publisher, the reviewer will also ask the same question. What is the originality of your work? So this is something that we really need to find in our research, and it is something to be considered probably even before we start our research. Yeah, so this is apply for all of you. Probably some of you, I know there are some students in the 3rd or the 4th grade in chemistry. So some of you may not have experience in writing, but probably you can start thinking about originality from now, because you will plan it in the future when you get the methodology class, or you get the when you enroll in the methodology class, or for example in the 4th grade. Then starting from there, you will thinking about your research, and then you will need to think about the originality of your research. So originality in academic writing, what is actually originality? How we can achieve originality in our writing? Okay, so that is the first thing that we would like to address in this presentation. And then the second one, we also want to look about the authorship. So this is something that sometimes we take for granted, because we thought it is obvious that when we do the research, then we are the authors, and then we also have some of our supervisor, pembimbing, yeah, so they also will be our co-authors. But this is seem to be something simple, but it can be problems in the future, because I also found some of the master students, especially, yeah, they publish their research, and they don't even incorporate their supervisor, yeah, in their writing. So they just publish it with their own name without the supervisor name. Sometimes it happens. So it is actually not a simple things, because some of us have not really understand about the authorship in academic writing. So what is authorship, and how we can implement authorship in our writing? And then the third one, which is probably have been covered partly in the previous section, is about ethics in academic writings. What are the common ethics violation in academic writing? So these are the 3 agenda. So the first one about originality. So I remember a very...
Excuse me, Bu Galuh.
Yeah.
I think you misunderstood what I was saying before. What I mean is, the one with least amount of information is actually on the academic ethics. Actually, is on the
Oh,
ethics.
ethic is the one that least
Yes.
informed. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so the originality, probably some of them has been mostly covered.
Yes, mostly covered in originality, some of on the authorship, but the least one is on the ethics.
So okay, so I will just jump to the second one. Is that okay? Second and the third one.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, so I will just jump. I think this is something that has been discussed previously. So I will just go further. Yeah, so this is the second part, which is the authorship in publication. So what is authorship, how it is used, and what is the criteria of an author? So first of all, we need authorship in academic writing because authorship is a media, is a tool for us as scientists to be famous. Because there are some areas that we know that has famous people. Actually, in the scientific world, there are also famous people in the scientific world. And how they can be famous? They can be famous because they write so many good articles published in the very good journals. And they have been cited by so many other researchers. And then that is how a scientist can be famous. So the authorship, academic authorship is actually a media, how a scientist can also be famous people. So this is actually a tool for us to share knowledge. And then it is also a tool for academics to build academic reputation. And this can also be utilized in the recruitment process. For example, as a chemistry student, you might be wondering, why do I need to write a research article and publish it? Well, you want to be able to be recruited in the future. When you graduated, you want to be recruited in some of the job position. You want to be recruited as a master student. You want to be recruited as the workers in a good company. Then you need to build reputation. And authorship in the journals can be part of the media for us to build reputation. And this can be very useful for us in the recruitment and promotion. If you are already employed, then promotion, you want a promotion, then publication, authorship can also be a media for that. So this is why we use the authorship system in the scientific world. So this is probably one of the very famous example. You know who it is? Who is it in the picture here? You know who they are?
Is that Albert and Mileva?
Yeah, this is Albert Einstein. And do you know who's the woman, the lady next to him?
Yeah, that was his cousin.
Yeah, it's actually his first wife, Mileva Marik. So they're actually a journal, Asian Journal of Physics, published in volume 24, number 4, 2015. Then the title of the journal is about the collaboration of Mileva Marik and Albert Einstein. So this journal actually talking about the relationship between Albert Einstein and Mileva Marik, and how they actually husband and wife, but how actually the writing that's already produced by Einstein and all of his research work, how is it actually influenced by Mileva Marik, because Mileva Marik is also a physician, so he's also a scientist. But in some of the Einstein papers, actually Einstein never puts Mileva Marik name as the authors. So Einstein first wife, Mileva Marik, is believed to co-authors 4 articles in 1905. For example, some articles that have been published in Annalen Physics And then this has been the foundation or the grounds of the Nobel Prize that is given to Einstein in 1922. But well, Mileva Maric actually never have the attributes because she's never been written as part of as one of the co-authors in Einstein papers. So this has been a question in some of other researcher nowadays, and they even published this article, collaboration between Mileva Maric and Albert Einstein, yeah, asking about how actually they collaborate and how Einstein work might be influenced by Maric. So actually there are some criteria for authors. The first criteria, an author needs to have a contribution in giving ideas for the development of research and experimental design. So authors can involve in the development of the research and experiment design. So this has not been the stages of the writing up, right? This is in the development stage. So if a person has a contribution in the development of the research and then the design of the experiment, then this person may be given authorship. And then there are also some authors that has contribution in the data analysis and the interpretation. This person can also be awarded an authorship. And then some authors has contribution in the designing and executing the research. This can also be given authorship. But some also has contributes in the drafting, revising, and assuming responsibility in the article. Then he or she can also be awarded authorship. So authorship is actually quite wide. It is starting from the beginning when the research is developed and in the stage of experimental design until it is executed. There are also some data analysis process, interpretation of the data process, and the last one is the writing up of the results. So this is a big process here, and people contribute in each of the stages may also be awarded an authorship. And then who are not eligible as an author? So this is, we need to emphasize on this because it turns up that there's many violation in terms of authorship, and who are not eligible as an author is the one who only funding the research. So usually the one who only funding the research is not awarded an authorship. So where should we put the names of the people funding the research? Where should we put them, the names?
Acknowledgement.
Yeah, we can put them in the acknowledgement. Yeah, so we can still acknowledge people who's actually don't have the big involvement in the previous process in the acknowledgement. And then the people that only collect the data. So this can be misinterpreted as well. If, for example, you have the sample and then you send it to a laboratory, then there are probably the technician who run the sample. Then this technician can be regarded as the person that only collect the data. So he or she may not be involved in the interpretation of the data. Therefore, they should not claim the authorship. And then the one that only editing and translating the manuscript. So for example, you have problems with English and then you need someone to proofread your work, then you can send it to a professional to edit and translate your manuscript. But they can be thanked by us, probably in the acknowledgement, yeah, but they don't have to be included as an authors. And then the one that's act as superior of the authors, for example, head of department or head of the laboratory, you don't have to put them as one of your co-authors. Yeah, so these are the one that's not eligible as an author. And then there are different type of author. There's the first author in by line. So the first author, usually the junior researchers. So all of you there are students who collect the data, who go to the lab and do some bit of the analysis with the help of your supervisor. Then you are the junior researchers. Then you actually qualified to be the first author. However, there are some different scenario happening because in some university, we still have problems with the ones that need to be put as the first author. So sometimes the supervisor can act as the first author, and then the student that do most of the work become the second author. But internationally speaking or globally speaking, the first author usually the junior researcher of a research. And then usually the first author, the one that makes the greatest contribution to the work. And then we also have the equal authorship. So this happens sometime when there are two junior researchers working in the same project, and then they both of them need to claim the first authorship. So sometime, although it's not something that is commonly known, sometimes they claim the equal authorship as the first author. So this is usually written in the article like this one. It says that Sima and Ya and Y Xiao contributed equally. So this means that these two authors claim the first authorship. So they need to mention specifically that both of them contributed equally in these papers. So this is those who equally contributed to the study, usually the first and second authors, but both of them wants to claim the first authorship. So that's why they need to mention about the contribution as equal. And then there is no clear definition about this, and this may be important for the academic promotion, because I know there is some promotion, actually even in Indonesia, that first authorship is really highly regarded, even like it is too much, because sometimes we haven't embraced the idea of the corresponding authors. The corresponding authors is the one that the supervisor of a project, and this is sometimes it's not really recognized in some universities. So they still think that even the lecturer need to claim the first authorship for the promotion sake. So I'm sure that this need to be we hope that in the future this can change. So that means that the first author should be given to the master student or to the students, and then the supervisor can claim the corresponding author position, but still can use it fully in the promotion. So yeah, this sometimes has become an issue about the academic promotion. And then we also have the last author by line. So usually this is the very senior researcher, the professor, and this is usually it can be head of department. Doesn't have to be head of department. It has to be the senior researcher, and usually the supervisor that has the supervising role, and probably the one who get the fund as well, who has the funding scheme as well, and he or she are placed in the last authors, and then he also can be regarded as the corresponding authors. Sometimes they're also corresponding authors. But there are also there's also corresponding authors that always mark specifically in the articles. So corresponding authors is the one that's responsible for receiving reviewers' comment, for the proof, for reprints, coordination for revisions, and the one who takes the integrity of the whole work. And this usually the senior researcher. And these are the person that the contact details do not change over a long period of time. So yeah, because he is actually employed in the institution. So that's why the student is commonly doesn't have this role as corresponding author, because the student's email is sometimes changed when after they graduate. So when after they graduate, the emails can change into the regular emails. So that's why it is actually not beneficial for the student to be corresponding authors, because the emails sometimes change quite rapidly. So that's why the corresponding authors is usually the one that the contact details does not change over a long period of time. And then it's also the one which correspondence should be include the postal and electronic address, phones, and fax. And this is the one that all the corresponding correspondence regarding the article should be directed to. So the corresponding authors should have the valid and also active email. So we always have the star symbol, marking the corresponding authors. Okay, so regarding the authorship, I also collect some of the ethics violation in publication that has been reported and has been also published in some of the publisher as the parts of the ethic violation. So the first one is the ghost author. Yeah, the ghost author is the authors who made substantive contribution to the design, execution, revision, but not listed as co-authors. So this is probably Marik, yeah, the one that we show, the Einstein wife. Some of the in the articles, it is argued that Mileva Marik is actually a ghost author in some of the Einstein publication, because she actually contributes and make a substantive contribution, but it's not written as one of the co-authors. And the authors, editors who are not listed in the acknowledgement. So yeah, it is also mentioned as the ghost authors. So the denial of the fair authorship is actually a misconduct. So this is not a good practice in academic writing. So all of the authors needs to be given the rights or the statement of contribution in the articles. And then the gift authors, the authors who do not meet the criteria but listed as a co-author. So part of the gift author probably given to the funder, or sometimes to the head, the superior of the company or the university. So it is usually senior researcher, head of department, or those who only provided funding but not involved in any parts of the research and in the research writing. Or a colleague who is expected to add your name in his article without considering your contribution. So sometimes it is also something that's a gift, but then the one who is given a gift need to give it back in the next articles. Yeah, it's actually not a good practice. And then inappropriate authorship. So one of the publication made in BMG journal in 2011 actually highlighting the honorary and ghost authorship in high impact biomedic journals. And this shows some of the violation in the inappropriate authorship. So corresponding authors survey with 30 questions about contribution of the authors in the sample, which is 630 corresponding authors. Prevalence, the honorary authorship, ghost authorship, and or both was 21%. So this is quite a lot. So if we count it from the 630, it's 130 a prevalence of honorary authorship and also ghost authorship. Honorary authors for research article is about 25%, and then for reviews is 15%, and then for editorials is 11%. So this is actually something that has been identified and also been published in this research journal as the practice that is not it is a violent, but has been done in some of the articles or the publication. So yeah, so the honorary and the ghost authorship is prevalence is 21%, and most of them in the review, in the research articles, and also in the review. So what about the number of authors in the article? So some of you may be asking, because there are so many stages in the research. Sometimes there are in the preliminary stage, which is only preparation of the research, and then the execution, and then the analysis of the data, and then last in the last stage is the writing up of the publication. So there's actually a very long process. So in some of the big research, it may involve lots of people. So some of you may ask, how many authors is usually is regarded as common in a publication, where actually there is no regulation. So multi-authorship requires disclosure of our contribution. So some of the papers nowadays have the area where the authors needs to disclose the contribution of each author. So you need to mention A contributes in what, and then B contributes in what. This is more and more common in many journals. And then multi-authorship is time-consuming, of course, but if it's a very big research, then this is something that cannot be avoided. And then the limits may depend on the article type. Sometimes if it is the RCT, the report, it has no limit. If it's a review, it can be involve many authors, like 3 to 4. If it is a case study, it can involve 2 or 3 authors. And then if editorial, it can involve 1 or 2 authors. And then the orders is dependent on authors and their contribution, and also resolved at the beginning of the publication. So this is, I think it is quite common that every time you, for example, you as student writing up your research output as an articles, and then you will have this meeting with your supervisor, and then discussing on who should be put as an authors, and then in what order. It is something that you usually discuss with your supervisor. And also the types of order, it is a descending order of contribution, alphabetical listing, and random order. So basically there is no rule, especially for the second, third, and fourth authors, but there is a clear rule in terms of the first author, and also the first author, and also the corresponding authors. Yeah, but for the second, third, and fourth, if there are 5, for example, authors, then sometimes it is listed alphabetically, or sometimes it's a random order, or sometimes it is a descending order of contribution. Okay, so how we can avoid the inappropriate authorship? The first one, we need to understand that authors by self-regulation can comply with definition of authorship. We know from the beginning that who can claim authorship. There's actually lots of people that involve starting from the beginning of the research, the planning stage, the design of the experiment, the execution, the writing up, and also the data analysis. And then we need to avoid the inappropriate practice in authorship. And then we need to follow the journals of editors, that we can also outline the requirements of authorship and require a list of author contribution. So this is becoming common now in any journals, that we need to list the author contributions. And then we need also to update. For example, institution can educate and encourage good publication practice. So this is actually right time. This time in this workshop, it is actually part of the updating for those of you who have not understand about the authorship, especially students, because as I mentioned from the beginning, there are some students actually publish their work without including the supervisor, and this is a bad practice. Okay, so yeah, this is one closure, that each author should take responsibility for a specific part of the work. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all for the authorship. And for the ethics, I'm not sure if, I think it's, yeah, it's Hafiz is already discussed in the previous session.
No, I believe we haven't discussed about that, like data manipulation or self-plagiarism.
Yeah, yeah.
Not yet.
Okay, okay. So yeah, then we come to the next part about the ethics in publication. So we already know about the guest authorship. Is the one that only fund the research, for example, or the superior of the researcher, like the head of department, the head of laboratory. They actually don't have to be awarded authorship. So if you award them authorship, then they can be regarded as the guest authorship. And then some of other most common violation is actually the data manipulation. So for example, like I also heard from the previous session, we know that probably some of us doesn't have the good data, for example, and then we don't feel confident to publish it because there are so many, because the data, for example, is too little. We only have like 4 dots in the graph, and then we expected to have like more than that. So it is really tempted for us to do the data manipulation. But we need to know that if we start to conduct this, and then it turns up to, it is actually quite, there are some proof that this can be tracked, and then some of the journal articles that has been published, but then proven in the future to have conducted data manipulation, and all the articles are retracted from the publication, and then the authors is also banned from the promotion, and sometimes is given a very like, for example, if it is a student, then the award is taken back by the university because they do the misconduct in academic world. So data manipulation is not something that we can do as a researcher. It includes the image publication. So for example, we just try to edit the image, or manipulation by editing the data, or for example, adding or taking out too much data. So taking out too much data can also be considered as data manipulation, or falsification. If there is no data and then we just put some random data, it can also be concluded as data manipulation. And some of the we prove that this can be traced and has been really has a very high consequence on the authors. And then self-plagiarism, we understand that probably you write 2 or 3 articles in your study, for example, in for your scriptsy or thesis, but then you think because this is your words, and then you can repeat the same words over and over again, or since it is your data, so you can just repeat the data in different articles. But this is actually has a name in the violation, which is the self-plagiarism. So sometimes the reasoning is, I wrote it, so it is mine. Well, it's not, because it's already published. Then it is actually belong to the article published in that journal. So if you want to repeat or you want to highlight the same wording, then you can do the paraphrasing, and then you can cite the previous work. But you cannot just repeat it in the whole and then not credits the previous article. Yeah, so if it's even though it's your own words, or if it on your own work, you still need to do the paraphrasing and do the good practice in citing and also referencing. And then the prior publication, so I'm sure it is quite gray area. For example, you already have half of your data, and then you present it in a seminar, so you already have the prior publication. So that is what we call prior publication. You already submit part of your data in the conference, but then in the end you need to still write up a full article with additional data. So this is not actually, some journals allow prior publication. So for example, in some journal, you can actually, if it is like substantial amount of new data, then it is actually okay. So what you need to do is actually just disclose that you have present parts of the work in a conference, for example, but the data is only partial. And then when you write it up into a journal, it's already a full data. So if that's the case, usually it's okay. Just remember that it is actually a substantial amount data that is quite different from the two publication. And then the other one is hedging. Hedging means submitting to multiple journals at the same time. So I know that some of you may be desperate. You want to publish this article as quick as possible. And if you just are waiting for one journal and then waiting for the result of the review to come, it seems to take so many, take ages. So sometimes takes quite a lot of time, probably months, and you don't have that time because you need to graduate soon. So you usually want to take the shortcut, which is just sending your same article to 2 or 3 journals. And then the journal, which one that has the quicker reply is the one that lucky, because that's the one that you will do the following up. But that is actually not a good practice. So some journal actually wants you to make a clarification that this article is not submitted to other journal for consideration. So you cannot do this because it is actually part of the violation that usually done by students or researcher that is really desperate to get published in a very short time. Okay, and then the plagiarism. So plagiarism is actually a wide area. So something that is quite, well, we can consider it as small, yeah? Like self-plagiarism, but there are also a bigger one, which can be defined as taking over someone's work and then claim it as your work. So this is one of the big plagiarism. So you don't write it, you just change the authors. So it's become, and then you claim it as your work. So, but in general, plagiarism is actually taking over someone else's writing without giving credits. So that's plagiarism. But there are some gradation. First can be the copy pasting the methods, or copy pasting the ideas, copy pasting the sentences, or copy pasting the wording. But the copy paste, all of them, even it is part of the method, the ideas, the sentences of the word can be considered as plagiarism. So make sure that you do the paraphrasing. Bu Ningrum already mentioned about a site that you can use to do the paraphrasing. So you can be you can still do referencing, but you don't just copy paste from other sorts. Okay. And then using the figures without doing some modification or without having permission is also considered plagiarism. And then no citation and no paraphrasing is also considered as plagiarism. Okay, so here are some examples of the ethics violation. For example, this is the Biochemia Medica, the Journal of the Croatian Society of Medical Biochemists. So, okay, so this is actually the sample of contribution statement. So nowadays, if you publish article to a journal, you need to fill in this authorship statement. So this authorship statement, you need to list all of the authors that are included in your work, and then you need to mention their contribution. Yeah, so all listed authors assume responsibilities for the manuscript content. All listed authors have participated significantly in the work, and anyone who has participated significantly in the work is not omitted from the articles. So it's ghost authors. And then manuscript is not previously published in the same or very similar form in other journal. So if it is quite different, like you have add substantial additional data, it's actually okay. And then the manuscript is not currently under consideration in other journal. So these are part of the statement that you need to check if you want to publish in this journal. This is this one way that we mention the contribution. So in this journal, you have a box actually stating about the contribution of each author. For example, this author is Paedon Kaklamanis, PK. So PK and Casey Kenneth T. Kalamia. Vise and Casey are both responsible for and contributed to study conception, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So yeah, so this is the contribution of each of the authors in the research. So I mentioned that it is probably tempting for you to do some little part of violation. For example, the self-plagiarism is not something big. You may think that, and then you just manipulate some of the data, just adding some more dots in the graph. But somehow this usually uncovered. So there are so many ways violation is uncovered. How? For example, from the scientist itself. So from the authors, from the editors, and from the reviewer. So the authors, editors, and reviewers usually have exceptional memories. They can access to various websites like Google, PubMed, and then SciFinder, and they can access of the software to detect plagiarism. Okay, and also image manipulation. So sometimes you cannot get away because these scientists actually are parts of the guardians that can check your work, and then they can access to various sites to confirm if you have done any violation. And then scientific community, although it seemed to be silent, actually the scientific community is watching and policing itself. There are social networking, blogs, Facebook and Twitter offer a new means to question published work in a very public forum. So this can cost you your work. This can cost you your position. This also can cost you your name in the scientific community. And then the publisher can also use technology to identify possible violators, for example, the cross-check and then the image checking software. Probably later Pak Hafiz can elaborate more on this. I haven't used this technology to identify image manipulation, but probably Pak Hafiz can elaborate more. So how can we as a scientist or a future scientist to avoid these pitfalls, or to avoid the consequences of doing or conducting this violation? Because this can cause us many things: the retraction of the journal, the reputation damage, and also the blacklist from certain journals, or even the notification sent by the journal to our institution, to our superior, to our head of departments, saying that you conduct a certain violation. So this is a really big consequence for us. It can cost us our reputation and career. So the tips, the first one is always present original research, always present accurate account of the research and perform, and then present objective discussion of its significance. Don't offer claim a certain research, but we need to be objective in judging our own work, and then make sure that all authors are aware of the submission. So if you send a certain articles and you include your supervisor name, please make sure that your supervisor aware about the publication, and even make sure that your supervisor contributes. So it can really, the content is also a responsibility of the supervisor. and then submit to only one journal at a time and disclose the submission history to the manuscript. If you already send it to a conference and part of the result has been presented, you also need to disclose that history of the articles. Okay, so that is the end of my presentation, Pak Hafiz. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Bu Galuh, for your presentation. That is very wonderful, actually. So we actually have a lot of things that can be like, should we include our friends in the as one of the author? Well, that's depend. What did your friends do? If just your friends, so no. But if you he or she actually participate in doing the research, so yes, something like that. And also a lot of ethical violation there. I think the one which actually the easiest one to conduct is actually the self-plagiarism, which is very difficult to avoid, in my opinion. During your lecture, your presentation, I also actually looking up for some examples of ethical violation. So I actually found one. I think I can show this one. Wait, a minute, which is actually very interesting. Because the manipulation is actually pretty obvious.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me share. There you go. This one is from ACS actually. So the it's actually chopstick nanorods here. So you can actually see over here the pictures. So it is very clearly we can see that the pictures is manipulated over here.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can see from the edges ya. Itu ada ujungnya tuh, ada ujungnya nempel nutupin.
Yes. So this one is actually very interesting and very hilarious at the same time. Actually, there is also this one over here. Fortunately, the letter is already withdrawn, so we which is good thing, but it's also we can use this one as an example, I think, especially for you and your lectures in manipulation of data. This one is actually from Nano Letters in ACS Nano,
which is a very reputable journal, ya Pak Hafiz.
Yeah, the last time I checked, the impact factor is actually about 10, I believe, which is very high because there are only 2 journals in chemistry that was indexed by Scopus in Indonesia, which is Molecule and Indonesian Journal of Chemistry, both of which the impact factor is, I believe, less than 1.
Yeah.
So the impact factor of 10 is basically very high.
Yeah.
Right. I think we can, Bu Heli, I think we can move on to the what is it again? The coaching session.
Yes. Any other question from participants?
Oh yes. Question first from the participant. I forgot about that one.
Actually, I think you can also share the best tips for students when to start the research and then avoid this such violence in a publication.
Mungkin tipsnya percaya bahwa kalaupun kita menganggap bahwa itu hanya edit sedikit, itu akan ketahuan begitu Bu Heli ya. Jadi seperti yang tadi, bahkan yang di level jurnal internasional begitu dengan impact factor yang begitu tinggi begitu ya. Awalnya kan itu kan kayaknya nggak akan ketahuan begitu ya, tapi kan ternyata bisa ketahuan gitu ya. Jadi mungkin untuk sekarang untuk mahasiswa-mahasiswa yang memang baru memulai riset, memang godaannya kan ini si data tuh nggak dapat gitu ya Bu Heli ya, jelek banget gitu, harus digimanain, titiknya juga cuma ada 3 yang lurus, yang lainnya udah kemana-mana begitu ya. Jadi kan pasti menggoda sekali untuk menambah titik baru begitu ya, untuk melakukan berbagai jenis manipulasi begitu ya. Tapi ya one way or another itu bisa ketahuan gitu, dan itu pada saat itu ketahuan itu harganya terlalu mahal begitu ya Bu Heli. Jadi ya mungkin ya kita usahakan untuk dari awal memang being honest itu kan part of the scientist ya, part of being scientist itu kan being honest begitu ya. Jadi kalaupun ya lebih data kita jelek ya kita coba report, kita coba perdalam dari analisisnya. Kalau masih reject ya itu jadi pengalaman bagus juga ya buat kita begitu ya. Karena jangankan Anda mungkin kan level kita aja yang sudah yang sudah pernah menulis di beberapa jurnal, di reject juga itu masih biasa juga buat kita begitu ya, bukan sesuatu yang aneh begitu. Jadi apalagi yang untuk penulis pertama begitu ya, itu juga biasa juga, itu harus menjadi sesuatu yang biasa begitu. Itu mungkin ya Bu Heli tambahannya.
Ilmuwan boleh salah tapi nggak boleh bohong.
Ya, non Bu Galuh, jadi intinya pokoknya biasa, because jujur juga kan bagian dari sikap seorang saintis gitu ya. Artinya jujur terhadap data, kemudian also be wise with your data, itu adalah bagian dari sikap yang memang harus dimiliki oleh seorang saintis ya. Karena pada dasarnya data yang bagus yaitu akan memberikan inspirasi, data yang belum berhasil juga ya akan menginspirasi untuk orang tidak melakukan hal yang sama gitu ya, karena nanti mungkin langkah yang sama itu akan menghasilkan data yang gagal ya. Ada pertanyaan ini kan ini beberapa ini pernah membuat juga ya review paper gitu ya, ini mahasiswa ini Bu Galuh, jadi Anda sudah memperoleh banyak gitu ya dari apa yang disampaikan di materi hari ini, mudah-mudahan menginspirasi juga gitu ya. Kalau ada pertanyaan susulan maka silakan, kalau tidak ada saya kembalikan lagi ke Pak Hafiz untuk melanjutkan ke sesi selanjutnya ya. Mohon Pak Hafiz dan Bu Galuh.
Ya, sepertinya ini tidak ada lagi pertanyaan ini Bu Heli. Jadi kemungkinan untuk sesi presentasinya ya, materinya mungkin kita cukupkan sampai di sini aja dulu, dan